futures a little change this morning ahead of a key reading on inflation with CPI data just out for the month of September, coming in a little bit higher than expected this morning, 0.4% for the month of September versus 0.3% expected on the month over month. So 0.4 versus 0.3. The year over year number, 5.4 versus 5.3 for consumer prices. So we'll have a look at the overall market here. As far as a reaction to that, again, hotter than expected inflation. Once again, seems to be a continuing topic. Anyways, Delta Airlines among stocks moving in the pre-market here, along with JP Morgan, both reporting earnings prior to the bell this morning. A little bit better than expected right across the board as far as earnings go so far, but not a lot of movement as far as either are concerned. We're watching Apple shares as well after that big move yesterday following the bell. Bloomberg reporting that they're going to cut iPhone 13 production significantly, it looks like, as well. So we'll talk about Apple coming up. We're also going to get the Fed minutes from the latest meeting from the Fed coming up at 2 p.m. today. That's always a very closely watched event. Again, 2 p.m. this afternoon. Any hints as to that tapering word once again? You might get a move in the overall market, so we'll talk about that as well. It's Wednesday, October 13th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, not much reaction here to that September inflation number. About flat there, 0.2 for the S&P, the Dow as well flat. The NASDAQ, though, looking pretty good, 0.5% to the upside at this point this morning. Otherwise, we are relatively unchanged on that board so far this morning. A little bit red at the bottom there for cryptos, Bitcoin and Ethereum back to the downside. A little bit of selling pressure coming back in here, guys, on the futures. Good morning. It is Wednesday. Again, that CPI number a little bit higher than expected, but ho-hum. Not a huge deal. We are still holding on to positive territory, though, guys, for the market.
Yeah, absolutely. It's after yesterday, the way the market closed, it's nice to see it for now to the upside. NASDAQ up that 0.3. We're going to be talking about DATs, and we'll get some of those puns out of the way that we were probably overusing in the last couple of days. I'm sure there'll be a heck of a lot more of those ones as it's again on the move and doing some pre-market volume here. Got some orders locked and loaded. Of course, if you're trading the afternoon show, that cost made some moves, so that's going to be in play as well after I guess a headline came through with regarding a suit that they had. We get a fantastic guest. We're happy to have Nick Leeson on the show. And then cost at the end was just sort of going bonkers, halting multiple times. So that has to be on the radar. Everyone's going to be talking a little bit about energy as well. I mean, not everybody, but energy is going to be talked about as well because you have all these renewable EV, that entire space moving. I mean, we thought after the close show, I really thought, Sean, it's like, the 30 break unplug was like the lowest hanging fruit.
We talked about that this morning.
But if it's that low hanging fruit, of course it's going to gap up through that level. So it's not even close to that. Plug just decided, hold my beer. We'll just go to 31.5, $32 actually right now. So that'll be one worth watching here today. But man, that 30 would have been such a good break if we could have had it today. There's going to be other ones though.
I mean, they have that deal with Airbus. So they take off and they just ignore that level and take it out, and when there's no offers there in the aftermarket, this is what happens, and it just rips to the upside. Of course, we had some Apple supply issues, but as I posted here on the sticky note, go find it. We're going to put up a reel as well on Instagram. We'll be on Twitter. I only have 4 names on here: DATS, costs, AMD, and I can't remember, and Apple. I'm talking about Apple right now. So Apple, DATS, costs, AMD, all on the watch today. I think Apple recovers from this. You're seeing, I don't know what's going to happen now because of inflation, so probably should have changed some of those expectations here for Apple, but inflation coming through with the CPI. Brendan went over some of those numbers. It was a nice little spike early. Now we're starting to fade out a little bit, but you're still up that nice, well, it was 0.4, 0.5. Now it's 0.2 here on the NASDAQ. So let's see what happens today. But we got some ideas. We got some levels. Find the sticky note up on Twitter and find us. Do we have that coming up too? Maybe you want to, let me find coming up too here because we got the QR code. Get your phones out right now, guys. Get your phones out. This is something cool that we decided to do yesterday. Thanks to Rob for this as well. Let's see if coming up too does work. Yeah, there it is. Stick your phone. It's actually really cool. Just open up your camera or whatever app you have. stick it to that QR code there right now. We'll leave it up there for a couple seconds, and that will take you to the login page to get our watch list. Our watch list is completely loaded every single day with not just blue chip stocks, but earnings names, stocks that are moving. Like today, we have Eni on there, we have Plug, we have DATS, we have Jasper Therapeutics, we have Delta Airlines on there, we have JP Morgan on there. I'm just going to spoil this all, okay, Brendan? So just don't do anything today. We have Apple, cost, everything that we've been talking about, but we'll leave it on there. Do it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty easy. We've seen this on other stations, and it's just, light that up. I like that little logo in the middle there. It should work. Take you right to the page, and then you can go there every single day and get your watch list. So absolutely free, and I think the quality that's put into there is definitely worth it. So please, guys, go over there and have a sign up.
Yeah, definitely great idea, and we work to make your lives easier. Hey, she's back. Miss V back in the building today after a much-deserved vacay on the west coast of Canada. Great to see you. Valeria, how are things? Welcome back.
Shout out to Vancouver and good morning, team. I miss you so much. I wish you a wonderful, profitable day. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed, guys, get it started. Lots to discuss this morning as far as what is moving around here so far in the pre-market. Let's go to some of the earnings, I guess, to kick things off. We had Delta and JP Morgan out this morning. Again, neither really doing much here as far as movement is concerned. The JP Morgan number was almost laughable. Neil and I were talking as to why Jamie Dimon might feel the need to throw some shade at Bitcoin, because when you're making the kind of revenue that JP Morgan is per quarter, why not?
Oh man, like just because they're drawing in like, what is it, 30 billion? Who cares? You don't have to take those digs. But as we were also mentioning, someone put up a timeline of all the negative things, and this chart's kind of ridiculous. All the negative things that Jamie Dimon over the years has said about Bitcoin. So this is, look, it's not like he's going to say something nice. There's probably like a good 20 comments or something along those lines where he's worthless, going to die. Whatever. I'm not even going to try and repeat them. But the thing about JP Morgan and some of the other banks, I like the trading number. I think that bodes well, hopefully, for Morgan Stanley, although it tends to take a cue from the trading action that JP does on its first day. Usually sells off on earnings. And that's even with a beat. So the idea of it closing up strongly today is, in the back of my mind, would be fantastic, but I have to think about what usually is a bit of a trend, right? So, it might be a buying opportunity. If you're worried about inflation and JP is going to trade down after the strong beat they had here, I mean, like I said, like the trading numbers were actually fantastic from their desk. Is there some concern that, I guess if you look at what's going on with like the buy now, pay later and the disruption in fintech, is there some concern that could maybe eat into their juggernaut? Maybe a little bit, but at the end of the day, I think this is where, some of these names are where you want to be in the event that we get what I think is happening, which is, inflation is definitely real. That's coming. And we're going to be in an environment where the banks are going to do relatively well. Now, if they sell off on earnings, I'm immediately looking to fade this one if it pops up today. And I'm just looking at the cluster of range that it had before, 167.5. It pops into there like another $1 or so. I think it can be, sort of sold and then take a quick look to see if it can't do that thing that it usually does, which is end up in the negative side of things by the end of the day. But who knows? Maybe this just gives you a chance. You get that 3 days or into next week when things settle down, and you might have a fantastic buying opportunity in JP. I mean, the trend is fantastic. It's nowhere near any of the metrics that you normally look at, like the 50 period, but obviously a relatively strong name as the entire space has been. But I'm not that optimistic that it's going to, hold the day to the upside, because it usually doesn't.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday a little bit, that we thought JP Morgan was probably a little bit overdone here up to 170. But I mean, so it's 11.7 billion versus 9.4 billion last year. So I mean, they beat year over year, but we expected that in this environment. The thing is, you mentioned trading, but they said that the bank said robust M&A activity offset a slowdown in trading. So I'm wondering.
I kind of put that together. But.
Yeah, I kind of think that if that means possibly, you know, some negativity coming from Morgan and Goldman, but I don't know. Goldman has just a huge trading wing, so we'll wait to see what Goldman does tomorrow, or I guess, tomorrow morning with Goldman and WFC, so that's going to be coming through. I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to wait for it to open. I mean, it's not doing anything. Up 0.65, you know, on past earnings reports, we have sank down a little bit. The high yesterday, 166.70. I don't think that that's going to come into play here at all. The daily chart, unfortunately, we do have these green wicks there. I don't even have my 20-minute chart. It is closed on me, so we'll have to get that open again. But JP Morgan, look, I think it's going to be a good one. I'm still long, you know, sub 100. We were buying this thing hand over fist during COVID. There's been way bigger winners than JP Morgan, but it's the only bank that I own. I'm going to still stay owning it. I did trim some at 156, so that seems to be a mistake. But for right now, I like the space. Forget about the Bitcoin stuff, whatever. I mean, you know, it's just like, you know, we put these videos out. Oh, Michael Burry, you know, this is when Bitcoin was 30,000. Oh, epic collapse coming for Bitcoin, right, at 30,000. Good call on that one there, Mr. Burry. So, I mean, right now, you know, a lot of these investors and sort of know-it-alls don't really know anything when it comes to Bitcoin. So we'll wait to see where all this stuff happens. So I don't really want to comment on JP Morgan's earnings and with respect to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has pulled back to 55,000 right now, but still a little double spot there from when some people were calling the collapse, right? And so we'll wait to see what happens. But the 50-period moving average is probably not right here because of all these downward ticks, but 160 should hold today, and we'll see what happens around there.
All right, some sad news today, guys, as far as Hasbro is concerned. I had multiple people reach out on Twitter and ask, you know, when a CEO dies or passes away, in this case from cancer, it was Brian Goldner, 58 is crazy young. He was recently appointed in charge of Hasbro over the past couple of years. I think it was back in June, I want to say. They actually made it public that he was battling cancer. So 58 years old, pretty young, obviously. I was going to double check on when earnings for Hasbro are. I think they're later in the month. But, you know, it's more on a shock news story if that ever happens. Very rare that happens. But I think because this was known and possibly to come, that's why we're not seeing any kind of movement for Hasbro today.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
It's not going to mean anything.
No, it's not a happy thing, and it's a sad story, obviously, because that is very young. But it doesn't mean anything to the stock. If it's, you know, and I'm not saying this to try to be like morbid or anything, but if an absolute shock happened to like. We were just talking about JP Morgan, so it's the first thing that's going to come to mind. Like if out of nowhere, you know, a brain like Jamie Dimon, out of nowhere, something like that were to happen, you might have an effect in the stock. And I think that's what you're getting at there with it being known. So it's not going to move today. It's probably not going to be much an actionable stock. We got a question, and I know, Brendan, you were looking into this. Not to jump too far off topic, but Verizon, you know, T-Mobile, AT&T, like all three of these names, and you know, I could just pull up Verizon here, have been under pressure like the last, this is daily chart loads up, have been under pressure the last week or so, and it's been, you know, you'll see the drop, right, because these are not usually pretty volatile names, usually pretty safe dividend payers. There's really not any sort of specific news that has this one, have these names moving, but these are starting to get to some interesting prices, I think, all three, in this little bit of a pullback. This goes further back. Yeah, you can now see, you know, if we actually crack like 50 on Verizon, you're now talking about, you know, March lows from this March lows, which is kind of crazy. And I hadn't, you know, it wasn't until I think, Brendan, when you were pointing this out yesterday maybe, I didn't realize that we'd come down this far. And it's like, okay, but it's all three of these, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. I mean, there could be some demand concerns, but either way, these now bear monitoring and probably should not be ignored. Usually not volatile names, but I mean, you get closer to $50 on Verizon, and I guarantee you there's going to be some buyers down there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, big dividend payers, of course, Verizon. But the thing about all these stocks, yeah, I mean, obviously they're way down. They're also down here in Canada with Rogers and Bell and those kind of names. So if you are a Canadian investor, you can look at those. Here's the daily here for Verizon. Thing is, you had such a big run up. You know, I mean, everything ran up. $61, good tops, $59. So you're back down to 51. I don't really love this space, but if you're looking for yield and things like that, you know, where your money might be safe, you could take one of those. For me, I've recommended, and I've been a buyer in this. My first purchase was 118. I still think we actually did a video not too long ago about Softies down? Okay, yeah. I mean, I love Microsoft there. Michael Scanlon. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. I know, yeah, my chart's on Microsoft. That's why I was just looking at Microsoft. Okay, so IBM, maybe that's why you mentioned it. IBM has been a name that I think you can hide in. Again, a really, really high quality name, old tech turning new tech. Deals with Google, deals with Ford, deals with a lot of people there for IBM. So you're still above the 50 period here. You're not going to see too many tech names that are like that, sans Tesla. But you're still above the 50 period here on IBM. You're moving towards, Neil mentioned the 200 period yesterday, so I actually included that on some of the charts here as well, just for the daily. And we're getting close to that as well, 136. So I think if you're looking for yield, and thanks for bringing up AT&T and Verizon and all those, I just don't like that industry, to be honest with you. I'd rather chase it with an IBM that's going to give you $7 a year in dividends and is in the right space for me anyways, especially with cloud. We saw cloud go crazy yesterday as well. So, we'll see if IBM can get going, but for a value trade, I like IBM. And I may, it may be a time to nibble into something like a Caterpillar or something like that, because Caterpillar is well down as well. John Deere has some kind of a vote coming up here with a union or something. So I'm not sure too much about John Deere. I have to go into that a little bit deeper. I was reading about this over the weekend and I just skimmed over it. So my bad on that one. We took this 190 here on Caterpillar, looking pretty sweet as well. So if you want to look for a name that's dropped off here that may rebound on global optimism, global recovery here. Caterpillar in the ag space, I mean, it looks fantastic down here at 190, going all the way back to early 2021. So you get all this, growth in the year gone, wiped out. So if you're thinking, oh, I missed this huge run, if you think it's coming back, you do have Caterpillar. I've recently bought Nike and Nucor. So those are kind of my, steady Eddie ones. So we'll wait to see where we go from here. But Caterpillar is an interesting one. I do like IBM though.
Quickly, guys, on the chip front, QCOM making some moves here in the pre-market. A bit of a pop aftermarket yesterday, 122 up to about 126. They announced a $10 billion share buyback plan aftermarket yesterday. Everyone's well aware of the chip issues. QCOM obviously used to be tied to Apple as well, but no longer. But positive here today, nicely for Qualcomm.
Everyone likes to buy back, certainly. Everyone's you can talk about the chip issues, and it's almost like the kind of thing that's been talked to death. The thing that probably we don't usually look at Qualcomm unless it's going to be earnings, and I kind of feel like that might be a disservice as we get down towards some of these prices that you're getting to on Qualcomm. And you're going to see many charts like this, but anytime one of these names breaks through the types of bottoms that we've been seeing or bounces off them, they've been usually pretty good trades, and you're going to see 121, 122, 123, 123. We broke that yesterday, right? So you broke this recent support, your February, your May support, and then you got a little bit of a bounce back today. I'll call it a capitulation bottom, if only because this was clean through 25 and goes right into that support level, and now you're gapping back up. So that's usually a pretty good setup for a break. Volume's not really there for you. What I hate about this, and it's like I made this mistake yesterday, you guys know this, with the timing of Tesla. Despite the fact being up on and the longs working out, it was the timing of when we're executing those longs when the market was at weak at times, and we just turned red on the ES, and the NASDAQ's kind of creeping towards there on that print, which kind of throws it throws a wrench in the plans of something like a Qualcomm breakout after a capitulation bottom. If the market was holding up 0.5% and you were looking like a strong day, you'd say, okay, well, you take a break here at like a 125.5, and then you're running it like $1.50, that's like a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But Qualcomm, like other stocks, just pulled back in on that print as well, and then went through that support at 125 already. So that's the kind of thing that on a daily or on a swing or something along those lines, like off of these levels, could make some sense on Qualcomm. But I'm going to back away from trading it because I think slight adjustment to how we approach the tech names, as Sean was mentioning with Apple. You can't ignore the fact that we traded down a little bit on that inflation number ultimately. So fortunately, there's enough movers that we have plenty of ideas for the open. But Qualcomm, at least for now, is sort of scratched off my list.
Yeah, I thought some of the names that I held were pretty bad. I'd be pretty pissed off here with some Qualcomm shares, and I'm glad I don't have any, but you are right back down to these levels again. Like, you are way off here, some of these highs. I mean, it's only $25 from 150. I guess it's not too bad. Forget about these ultimate highs of 165. I mean, you know, you're always going to do that. No coffee till after the bell. Yeah. No, I don't need some coffee. It was a late night, but we're okay. We're okay. It's only Wednesday, right? So we'll still come with tons of energy like you guys want. So don't worry about that. 123 and change back here for Qualcomm again. You know, a good name, a high quality name. So I think now, look, there's so much nibbling potential right now. I mean, we can call up any of these names. And Qualcomm's just another one here where, yeah, this is probably time to start picking this up. I mean, bottoms, this is actually a good shutout. Who brought this up? I mean, this was a good one. Qualcomm down here, 122, 122. I mean, we're right here. So, you know, if you do think the market's going to bounce a little bit, again, let's do some more macro issues here with Qualcomm and figure out exactly, you know, if there is a reason for this to bounce back to the upside. But I like Qualcomm. I mean, Micron, you want to talk about chip issues as well, down to $66. This has been beat up as well. Of course, like, I type in Micron and it just reloads the Qualcomm chart. But Micron here, I mean, this has been a disaster as well. $100 down to 66, right? Almost the opposite tail of like an AMD type of thing, right? So we'll wait to see what happens here with all of these chips. And if you want to get something that looks sick, you can maybe pick it up. Micron might be a play as well. But I'm staying away from all of these. I think right now the best thing to do would be buy best of breed. And for me, that's going to be NVIDIA. So I think that you can put your money into NVIDIA. You can pick up some Intel as well. They have a dividend down here. But still, my number one play is IBM.
Few analyst notes, guys, for you this morning. Plug Power on here. We mentioned the Airbus deal, getting an upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Constellation Brands to the upside as well. This is not the Blackstone that you're thinking of. This is a minerals mining company. Monster Energy, I noted early on this morning, was pretty negative. Jeffrey's downgrading that one. And shout out to Tim Hortons, Restaurant Brands, getting a downgrade today as well.
What?
Stone Minerals. I'm sure somebody somewhere has made that mistake. You can't do that to Restaurant Brands.
QSR. I didn't even see it on there. Where was it there?
No, there's no downgrade.
Oh, it's RBI. That's why it's RBI. Yeah, the symbol,
Monster Energy, though.
Symbol QSR. They're Wayfair. They got what you need if you're looking for stocks that are down 3%.
Look at the levels.
Yeah, I mean, this is another daily chart here where you're right at some of these levels. I can't believe Wayfair. So I don't really want to... You know, I don't really want to go crazy here with Wayfair or anything like that. I mean, you talked about some bottoms. I don't know if I can even zoom back out. I mean, this thing went at like $20 or something in COVID times, and then ripped all the way up here to $365. But look at this on the daily chart, man. You're like right back in again. All of these bottoms, 220, 220, 220. So Wayfair on the downgrade. We'll have to find out why they downgraded, or why they were downgraded. But I mean, this is not going to be a day trade stock for me. But if you break down below this 225, then look out below. I think Wayfair definitely has a chance to retest 150. I mean, that looks a little sick to me right here. But again, I don't know enough about the company to comment on it if you're a shareholder. So
yeah, the only thing it reminds me of is, like, remember we were looking at the Moderna chart a few days ago, and we're sort of saying, like, you break some key levels of Moderna, and it's like, you know, you could easily be $50 to $100 lower, and Wayfair kind of feels the same way. Again, that's just the chart, but there's plenty to get to. Of course, Plug Power gets the upgrade. You know, they get the deal, they get the breakout. We'll be trading some of that today, but sometimes I feel like when you get that analyst upgrade after a big power move like that, there can be a bit of a pullback. So it might be the dip buy today on Plug.
All right, let's get into everything else that is moving around in the pre-market. I'll give everyone a moment to grab your cell phones because we have a handy new feature on said watch list. Hold it up. Scan the QR code. It'll take you right to the watch list if you do need that still. That's the link. Otherwise, Miss V can help you out in the chat, guys. So great new idea yesterday. A great new feature for you for the watch list. Every single day, absolutely free. Let's go. Apple, guys, on watch today. It is down, as we said, but I think could be a lot worse here. After that Bloomberg report yesterday said they're going to slash production of the iPhone 13 by as much as 10 million units. They were talking about 90 million units prior to this.
Well,
Yeah.
there's some context to Apple, because remember that Apple was off more than the other FANG names from the highs in the first place. So you'd already pulled back essentially. I mean, going into that news, you already pulled back 10% on Apple. So I feel like a little bit of that was priced in. And I say this every single time, like I never actually hope that stock goes down on like a fundamental level. Like, no one likes anybody losing any money, but thinking about this, and we talked about it last at Apple, thinking about this 50 period, I did come in expecting today that, hey, today this might be your chance to get this in front of the 50 period, in front of the 200 period average here, that 135, 136 area. And the reaction, at least initially, was to the opposite side, and then you got a little bit of a drawback when that inflation print came out. So I don't know if all said and done here that we aren't going to be eventually testing, that 35, 36 area. It would be a bullish sign, at least in the short term, if basically took that advisory and threw it out the window. We understand that these shortages are going to abate at some point, but like you had the CEO of Marvel saying this is a couple of years away, and then you had sort of a counterpart at AMD basically saying this could be like next year is when some of the shortage would abate itself. And as long as you're not, everybody but Tesla seems like they're feeling this crunch. Tesla seems like they're just not having any issue when it comes to this because they're blowing delivery numbers. And it kind of makes you feel like eventually it's going to trickle down to them as well. But nobody can really, truly, I think, predict exactly when the turnaround is going to come. And that just, to me, means as long as you have a long enough time horizon. Apple's an entire ecosystem. It's not going anywhere. The short term, there might be a little bit more pain to come. If that happens down to anywhere close to that 200 period, that's where it's an obvious start to buy situation on Apple. Maybe it doesn't happen today. It felt like at the end of the day yesterday you were going to get that chance today, and the market might be skittish, but we're not exactly getting that. But I'm going to have bids down there regardless in front of the 200 period, just in case we do get that dip.
Yeah, we won't get that dip today, but definitely for a longer term period, I think so. Shouldn't say that. I can call it my affirmed trade yesterday where we were long. We didn't think it'd get to 130, and it went to 133. So we'll see. Apple's going to be completely fine, man. This is just like we were saying. This is a great opportunity to buy some more, in my opinion. This is not doing anything to demand, right? And anyone that owns an Apple phone is going to stay with them. And if they delay it 6 months, then it'll just be 6 months later they'll get their revenue. So it will affect a few things. Apple will cut most likely their forecast at some point. They should probably get some downgrades for this, just because the revenue is going to, like I said, take a little bit extra. I think it was 90 million units. They took it down 10 million units there. So I don't think it's a huge issue. I actually really like the stock at these levels. I have a bid down here. I think 139.50 is a possibility today for sure, especially if you do get a flush off the open. But the thing is, that CPI number sort of was like here and then back. It's not really affecting the market as much as I think that people maybe thought it would. So if we can get a bid down here, 139 or so on Apple, this is a definite buy for me in this name. And I think the space continues to grow. And Apple, the ecosystem's a monster. It's one of the best stocks to own, not trade. So to me, that's a no-brainer. It's on here on the sticky note. We talked about it has supply issues, but I guarantee not demand. They're going to sell more phones than they probably ever have. That happens all the time. And so we're expecting some big things from them. To me, it's more important about what happened with cost. That has nothing to do with Apple. It has something to do with Apple. It's not obviously going to affect the Apple stock, but costs on the next one on our list here should run as well today, Brendan.
We're going to get to cost here. Just double checking on JP Morgan, guys. It looks like the call could be on right now. So just a heads up if you are watching JP Morgan, just seeing a few comments coming through from the CFO. So we're going to get to cost. Let's talk JP Morgan first. Still watching that Qualcomm as well. Reported a bigger than expected 24% jump in third quarter profit for JP Morgan. Again, the investment bank side, huge number, offsetting what they called a slowdown on the trading side that had been huge over the past couple of quarters.
Yeah,
like those two angles are, to me, always going to be linked. It's actually been a record year for deal making, which. I'm not sure that's going to continue next year. Just the way that all these SPACs, and I'm kind of getting off topic, just the way that all these SPACs have been going, a lot of them not negatively, I kind of feel like there's going to be a bit of a pullback in deal making next year, and regulatory concerns regarding it is probably a little bit of that as well. You're seeing the call here, and I've learned my lesson. Like, sort of, if you see me never trade bank earnings in the morning at pre-market, it's because they have these calls the pre and sometimes going into the open in the morning. So you have to be very, very careful because, one word here or there, they could talk a little bit about forward guidance, and then you get in trouble unless you're actually listening to the call and looking for something in particular. I did want to fade this, but like I said earlier, it was going to be if it popped up and gave you something from the 67 to 67.5 range. So it's not like I would have been sitting in this, but JP Morgan's starting to pull back in here as we speak. Does it get to like a 160? That becomes pretty interesting if it does. I know it's hard to see. It's kind of hard to see here on this chart, but this is the 50 period is at 160, and you had a bit of a support level of 161.5. That would be an interesting trading range if things got out of hand here, but it did go from trading positively to right back to negative. And as we said, a lot of times, despite regardless of how they do in terms of the earnings or how good they look, it tends to trade down, and the banks tend to trade down. So you can watch for sympathy plays like a Morgan Stanley. If you're looking, I'm not looking to take anything out of the banks in this current environment, but if you're looking to take some profit and say like Morgan, you'd look at the reaction to trading of JP and it doesn't close up. Well, maybe it's not a bad idea to take some off if you were already looking to do so. I don't think that makes any sense because to me, I want to be holding on to the banks right now, especially in the sort of an inflationary environment that it looks like we're in right now.
Yeah, so I mentioned here about owning, not trading Apple before, and some people mentioned in the chat. So I did sell. Good look by a lot of you in the chat there. I did sell Apple at 152 right on this break right here. The break is actually 153. We didn't get the order out till 152. So it breaks on that news with Epic Games and some of the lawsuits that they were dealing with there about the App Store and whatnot. So we did get out of some Apple there. So and Apple was at that point my biggest holding with Microsoft and Google. It became Facebook, and then we emptied out the Facebook there at 330 like we talked about. But we did get out of some Apple right there, so we are looking to buy some back. And I have to buy it back at some point. I want this to be one of the biggest names in my portfolio. Although we're only up, I think it was 133 at the beginning of the year. Now it's 140, so it's basically been stagnant all year, Apple. So that's not great. And they also pay a small dividend. So not really. Apple has not been performing well this year, but it also hasn't been poor either. And we did sell our JP Morgans. We talked about that. Some of it anyways, about half of our position at 156 when it was taking out this 50 period or so. It has ripped up a little bit here, but I think that I'll probably hold out that might be a good sale as we're coming back down to 164. Like Neil said, man, the conference call is going to mean everything. I'd like to go short, if anything. JP Morgan today doesn't normally produce well on earnings. And here's the imbalances. So we'll go downside here. Hopefully the money will come in, but won't be anything with these imbalances today, man. BlackBerry's in there with some news today for BlackBerry, but other than that, hopefully my chart will load up. Well, actually, you don't want to see the daily chart for this, right? The 1 minute chart for BlackBerry, 932 up to 969. We will talk about that later. That's not Fisker. Bank of America on here as a buy, and then everything gold with Barrick is on here as a buy as well. So the imbalance locator seems pretty tight this morning, Brendan.
Let's bring in Arun here, get a check of the overall market, and talk a little bit about what to be aware of on the futures today, Arun. Up, down, we're flat now. What do you think?
Yeah, and this is going to be pretty much the same thing as yesterday. I kind of mentioned this area, the kind of range we're stuck in. It is a range. It doesn't look like one in terms of the big scope of things, but it is a range just because of the area that we're in. We're stuck between two different DMAs with a ton of program activity above and below. That's where you're getting this tight range action. Every time we get up a little too high, programs step in to bring it back down. Every time we get too low, programs bring it back up. So that it's kind of hard to trade as a day trader. It's kind of hard to kind of step in the middle here and try to look for a shot, whether it's a long off the bottom or short off the top. It's not as easy, and you would love to catch it, but it's kind of difficult. So it's better off just to sit back and wait, see if we can get to the edges and maybe catch a bid with the two big levels that we're going to be working with. Closer to the levels, it makes the trade a lot easier to kind of play with. So I've got 42.95 on the bottom, same level as yesterday. And we had 43.25 from yesterday, but I've also got a new one down there at 42.80. It's a soft 80 though, meaning you have to wait for it to kind of trade past it if you're going to get out, if you're short in front of it. But those are the two areas that I'm looking at. So for potential levels, so if we can get above maybe 55 into the 60s, so 43.60-ish, if we get there and set up on the short side, maybe a trade. And again, when you take that trade though, it's one of those, let's see how much we can get, how fast we can get it, and then you get out. You don't really try to hold on too long with these kind of trades, especially in these price points. And then the other one is going to be 42.95. If we get below 43.30, then get a setup there, then potentially we can get a nice little bounce, maybe a quick move back up and see if we can't get that trade in. But those are the only two trades that I can see for now, at least. The way the market's been trading, it's coiling. It's going to be setting up for either a move in, well, I guess it'd be a breakout move either direction, but at some point volume is going to have to come in because this isn't going to go on forever, right? But just bide your time, hold your bullets until you need them. And for now, just be aware that we are stuck between some two interesting points that are not necessarily technically there, but it is program activity that is going to be maintaining these price points. So for now, just sit back, wait, see if you can get a trade after the open. Maybe with earnings, especially coming out, you see some bank earnings this morning. With earnings starting to get moving now, these names are going to start pushing this market, right? You have the big names coming out, I believe, later this month. You have the Apples, you have the Microsoft, the big tech names that are heavy in the indexes. Those will push the market at some point. So it's just a matter of when is that going to happen? Are people going to anticipate this move, anticipate these earnings, start moving the futures in certain directions? At that point, the trade's going to open up, and that's when you start making your trades. But for now, just sit back, be patient, and maybe we get something out after the open.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Costs Corporation, guys, up 11.5% here once again this morning. Very active in the pre-market, trying to hold aftermarket levels as support. Here we go right now for costs. If you missed it yesterday, there was a court transcript being circulated on popular trading-focused social media sites talking about the Apple ruling, a patent issue with Apple that was voted or went in their favor. Worth noting, again, 4.4 million share float on this stock. That is currently, I read this morning, guys, 14.5% short.
Yeah, look, you guys remember, a lot of people are going to remember costs from the squeeze days. At the end of the day, it actually just made a move up. This is kind of, it's a little bit frustrating. It just made a big move up. I'm just showing you the daily chart because that's like GME squeezes. But it was falling off there. And I'll show you the 15-minute because it had basically sold right into like a 2021 range. I was sort of looking at like, okay, if it broke and held lower, you got to be thinking dip buy in the 19 to 20 range almost for sure because that low flow. We've seen secondary moves on these names that, you know, sort of pump up and then sort of fall off, but manage to hold some key levels from either the post-market or the previous day. In this case, it's going to be the post-market. And we observed some of this breakout, you know, to that 21 level, and we just reclaimed it. Again, I think it's going to have huge volume. It could be known to halt, although I kind of feel like maybe the liquidity is going to be good enough that it'll resist some of the halt bands, especially to the downside. That's one thing to watch out for. You know, so I'm probably at this point, now that it broke back above 21, I think I'd be looking dip by a little bit higher, like not waiting for that halt price 19 to 20 in this range here, but probably looking at a level up and then the 20 to 21 if it falls off. I mean, it's going to set up probably for a 22 break as well. That could be forthcoming here. And this should be one that, you know, the spread's right now 5 or 6 cents, but there's going to be enough liquidity that you can trade it in the pre-market. Just watch out for any trading halts. Like if it breaks, if at the open we're sitting at 20, you know, we're sitting right here at 21.5, and we make that breakout, there's a decent chance you could get a halt right around that like 24 level. So if you're not looking to hold through a halt, just observe how quickly it makes that kind of a 10% move. And then if you don't want to be holding through a halt, you either cover it. We like halt trades, so I'll tell you this right now. If after 9:30, cost is breaking the high of the day and going into a halt, I'll be trying to catch that, you know, in that 15 seconds, I'll be trying to catch that bid and do the, you know, get in on a halt and then get out right after it opens.
Yeah, I love costs. Again, it's only one of only 4 names that we have on our watch list, and we're actually into it right now at 21.19. So we just, you know, we bought some costs right now, so we'll see where that goes. But we're in it, 21.20 right now to the long side already. I like this 22. Neil mentioned 22 break. I think you can take it even a little bit higher there. My break's not going to happen until about 22.50. So we'll see if it can happen there. But the 22 break is good to go. We're already in this name long. So there it is right there, 21.19. We got the bid just now. I don't know why my candle's not showing that, but there it is. So we're already in that. It's already in the money right now, 50 cents. We'll probably take out a little bit as we're at that view up, and then we'll see where we go. But here comes up to $22. So a good trade already from cost. So again, this is the thing about it, right? We talked about this. please, find the sticky note, go grab it. There's only a few names on here. We crushed a firm yesterday. We did really well with it. We've been doing really well, with some of these notes as we go. So watch out here. I'll take out a piece at 22, and then we'll hold for the rest. And it looks like a 22.50 break will be coming. So cost, again, a good idea. We're now long 21.19, and we'll see where we go from here. But that was a pickup. Like Neil said, we started to buy it there a little bit less into that move. I thought I had a bid down here at 20.50. I didn't. It didn't get there, but that's another spot that I like to buy all the way in. And if we're going to be wrong, we're going to be wrong at 19. So I'm going to average into this one. And like I said yesterday with a firm, AFRM, hopefully my charts will, they won't. They don't show my, damn it, they don't show my trades down here. But yesterday we actually picked the bottom here at 133. But the problem is we kept averaging in. So by the time it started to pop up, we started taking them out, all for profits. The firm was my number one stock yesterday. But the point is that if we didn't start like buying here, I wish my executions were here, but we do have a 132.50 or something bottom yesterday on a firm that we actually bid out, and we got them out right here, 138.50. So we took a $5 winner on a firm yesterday, but we averaged in, which made it less appealing on the upside, right? And so that was one of the things that we're going to try to learn from today, and we'll do that with costs here on a 3-minute chart. Anywhere back here, 1950 is going to be a load up spot for sure. We're long the name right now. I think a 22 break's about to happen. So, hey man, this is going to be a good one for me today. Costs, we're already long, and we can already, guys, I know it's your favorite. Let's do a little early here. Let's spin some cash here. We're not out of it yet, but I just have a good feeling about cost today. Maybe we're jinxing it, but where is it? Where is this thing? How many things do we have on this board? Oh my God, we got to get that fixed. Let's spin it right now. Cost nicely in the money, 76 cents. So we will take a piece out right now if we can, and watch this cost go to the moon from here, guys.
Just watching this Wader Holdings as well. Another one moving here, guys. Another one with about a 14.5% short interest. So WTRH up this morning as well. Big float on that though. It's 100+ million shares on the float. Not big, but relatively. Delta Airlines reporting decent earnings this morning as well in the pre-market. 63% or revenue was 63% recovered versus year-over-year numbers. They also said Q4 revenue should be the low 70% kind of range from where they had expected. So pretty positive here, guys, for Delta. Bookings were on track. It was the quarterly revenue number. It missed, but just ever so slightly.
This is the thing, like everybody and their mother, everyone that you would hear was saying Delta was going to report those first positive numbers, earnings since the pandemic came on. And sometimes it's the weight of expectations that's going to draw you back in no matter what. A quick look here is going to show it was probably at a consolidation range here where it was pretty binary. Like you're either going to get a retest at 46 or it was going to come down and test what I think is going to be an actionable level at 42. Just sort of looking at, I think we talked about this maybe last week, now that I come to think of it. And we might have talked about this last week, this 42 area here, which was hard resistance for a couple of months. And then you just got a recent breakout there. So on a positive number, you kind of think that a floor can be put in there. That's where I want to be buying the dip on Delta. I don't think there's another trade that I could care too much about with this name. Sure, it has to break this, I guess, double bottom, triple bottom, whatever you want to call it, at 42.70. But on essentially positive report, I'd like to see if I can't pick this one up in front of that 42 level. So it dips any further, I'm going to be on the bid of Delta. If I get a fill, I get a fill. If I don't, then there's no trade for me on Delta here. But you can kind of see, I like these levels when it comes in. You get a breakout, support, travel all the way back in. You even get a decent print. Market's still actually holding up, at least for now. We're back in the green. So you have a lot of things working in your favor if this happens to dip down to 42. So I'm going to be on the bid of Delta, probably in the 15 to 25 range, somewhere there. Let's see if we can use that support level.
So we just did, we're going to tweet it out here. We just did take that cost for 68 cents, and now we're going to hold the rest. Look, I like Delta. I think Delta now with these numbers, could be a little bit more attractive than a Southwest. But, international flights, we actually have a video on Delta. We thought that it could take off here a little bit. Pun not really intended, but I don't know what Delta's going to do, but we are right back into some of these levels on the 20-minute chart, down to 42 in change. So you're pretty low on these names. If you don't have any exposure to the airlines, Delta might not be a horrible name to pick up. And if I can find again my daily chart on this one, I'll give it to you. You're above the 50-period moving average, which is pretty sweet, right? So we do like that kind of a trade. I have no idea where my 200 period is. I guess maybe if I zoom out, it will start to build, which of course shouldn't happen, but there it is. Yeah, so you're below that, but you're above right now. You're above the 50 period, which I really like. You have some decent support. These are the levels that we're talking about. And then today's report came out pretty good. So I like Delta. We'll see what happens here. I think it's a good little name to pick up, but I'm a buyer more at 42 flat. So if we get down to there, hopefully we get some bids picked up and we'll make some money on Delta.
All right, DATS, no, I can't. Barstool Sports guys teaming up with DatChat on a promotional deal. So big move yesterday, late in the day for DATS. This was, what time was this? About 3 o'clock, yeah, when we came on, just straight through to 15.5 at the top end of the range there. Trying to hold that as support, guys, on this Barstool headline.
Yeah, so
buddy.
Sometimes our previous trades will show up on the charts, and I could go back and show you what happened when DATS got to 1850 at the end of October, end of September, I should say. It put in a lower high, and I'll kind of zoom back into this day. It popped, and then right here at about 1:30 in the afternoon, it held support at 1650 exactly, tested up here at 1750, and then I shorted it multiple times here at 1650, and it fell off the cliff. So forget about that support that was at 16. It was at 1650 that a buyer stepped in, and it just absolutely died in. And now you're looking at a 1650 high after it's come all the way down, all the way back up. You get a gap up, you get a bit of a cluster here. So, sort of sitting down, it's interesting because when I loaded up my chart, the first thing I noticed was why did I go short at 1650 previously? And I thought, okay, well, it's got to have some significance. So you're going to see me, I have a stop to break out long 1650. I also have a deep dip buy in here, just because if we happen to retest that 15, I really do like that as well. You can sort of see why with this little head and shoulders, right? Like this is $15 on both days after that flush out on the 29th, right? So I kind of think that on any dip, it should hold this level. At least that would make sense to me. So I want to be dipping in front of it. If I get a chance, don't need to touch it in the middle here. We'll let it wash itself out. If it pops, great, we'll have the long. You obviously have to think about these levels up here, 1770, and then obviously 1850 is a little bit of resistance to a breakout, but these ones stand out. Just go back and look at what happened at the end of month last year, and that's where we come up with the levels today.
Yeah, I just punched in small right now. I had a 1560 bid, and honestly, I can't believe we got missed again. It went down to 1562, so we switched that up to 75 now on this one, and I just don't want to miss the party. So we're long right now on DatChat. We'll see where we go. Again, this is one of 4 names. We have Apple Costs. It's on the sticky note. Apple Costs, DATS, and AMD. I keep forgetting AMD on the board as well. So let's get long DATS right now. I just punched in, so I marketed in. We got 95s right there because lots of liquidity right now. So we got 95s, and I like that play. Obviously, a 1650 break is already in, ready to go. So I think once this breaks 1650, we'll take some there. And here we go already. We're already, guys. We're already backflipping. Look at this. So we already took 68 cents on. Let's go, guys. It's an early one. We've hit this twice now on the day as we take it, man, and there it goes. Bye-bye. See you later. So that looks like a good call there on DATS as it's making new highs right now. Well, hopefully new highs right now. 1625. Wow. Did we ignite that or what right there? Thank you to everybody out there. Wow, that was a good one, man. We took that, and then it just rifled up. So DATS right now. Yeah, we'll fire off the hot dogs early if anybody has DatChat. We may just get out here. This is a nice little move up for 30 cents. We'll scalp some off. We've seen what can happen in the pre-market numerous times. We only have 13 minutes to go, but there we go. A nice win for us. Let's get some of this out, and let's just keep on watching this go to the high side. What a successful morning already here, Brendo.
Market trying to bounce here as well, getting back into positive territory, and then some up about 0.2, guys. So let's talk Plug Power as well. We mentioned it off the top there a little bit. Teaming up with Airbus on an interesting hydrogen clean energy deal that's going to involve a whole bunch of airports and a whole bunch of initiatives to make the operation, from what I was reading anyways, the operation of an airport a little more environmentally friendly.
And look, this is all the rage. Everyone's talking about it, and certainly you can't get away from clean energy making a strong push this year. Plug already broke through 30. You guys were watching the afternoon show. You knew that was a big level. Just going to pop you to the daily so you can see this 30-50 area, recent high and recent resistance. If it pulls back into that range, we're going to be all over Plug Power on any kind of a dip in front of 30-50 with a 30 stop. It's pretty much that simple. If we take out the high, I don't like the breakout. I'm only going dip buy and plug. If at the open it holds pre-market lows, then that's the place I'll buy it. But we talked about this months ago. The first time it tried to break the 50 period, this time it actually has a positive catalyst to go along with it.
Yeah, look at DATS, guys. DATS just rips up there as we're talking about that. Wow, a big time move. We went to 1680 there, DATS. So yeah, we did take some out at 1625 there. Big move to the upside right now. So yeah, we actually got 1650 there on that, and it just ripped right up. Well, it doesn't matter. It's coming back down, so hopefully you can get a better price now. Right back up to the upside there. Wow, DATS just starting to motor right here. So we'll see what happens. It rips to 1680 on that one. So that's a good call. Remember the past high, Neil talked about it, 1850. So we'll see what happens here with DATS as it's trying to go now to the upside. So hopefully this is a good little winner for us. Let's go DATS, man. We're super, super happy. This is how we're doing it, Brendan. There's dragons everywhere, and we're trying to slay them. As long as one's not Brendan, we don't want to chop that dragon's head off. Good job today so far, Brendo.
Guys, just watching Any as well. We'll get to Any here in a second. But if you missed it, guys, it's Barstool Sports. It's a multi-channel agreement across Dat Chat, Messenger that's going to involve promotional deals with Barstool. Any Sphere 3D, this is another one that if you go back a couple months ago, gave you a nice little squeeze trade up to 12. If you remember, we got to on the high there. 8.6% today for Sphere 3D. This is crypto related, so they teamed up with, what was the company called again? Core Scientific on a 230 megawatt carbon neutral Bitcoin mining hosting deal.
Any's a little bit, like someone asked about the chat what I thought about this one. I was like, it's very, very whippy, unfortunately. And it was one of those ones that it didn't feel that great to be sitting in a pre-market position on, just given that price action. And look what happened just literally yesterday at $8. You saw it absolutely tank off of this, off of this high at 930. It then puts in exactly the same top today in the pre-market. So it just feels like there's not much of a chance for this to get above that price. Obviously selling at the exact same point on the positive news here, and then continuing to flush at the open. So this is to me is going to be a fade off of these levels, that $8 almost the entire way. And now I can actually see it calm down a bit. You're even looking at 765, 775, which is turning into resistance as well. So it's putting in lower high resistance. I mean, $8 would be great as a break. I'd call it 805 because it has tried a couple of times to get through there. It did in the pre-market yesterday as well, but you look at the chart of yesterday's action, stalling out on all pre-market pumping on low volume, and then getting right to the price at which it sold off of, the day before. It kind of tells you all you need to know about it there. So, Any for me, it'll be a fade. I'll probably fade it into that $8 range, probably give it to like 805, something along those lines. But that'll be one for after 930, because as I said, it just didn't feel like it felt a little bit whippy. The spread opens up like 3 or 4 cents, which I'd like to see a little bit tighter and a little bit more volume before we jump into that one.
Okay, like I said, I haven't done any work on anything other than the 4 names that I have and a few others. So let's go over AMD quickly here. AMD, look, again, another name here that, especially if the NASDAQ is going to go today, like it looks like it wants to, it definitely resisted that inflation number still on DATS right here. It definitely resisted that inflation number, but you still have this 106 right here staring us in the face on the 1-minute chart from yesterday. So it bounced off 106 a couple times real early and then just couldn't get going. We know the NASDAQ failed yesterday, so this is a name there goes, come on, DATS, let's just get going, man. We're long at 41 here. I still think you can take out 17, so we'll wait to see what that happens. And then even higher, I think DATS goes crazy today. 106 and change right now, so I do, darn it, we can't look at the daily chart. Let me just zoom this in a little bit. That's the 50 period is 106.50 on our charts. I like this 106 area, the 20-minute chart. Hopefully I can find that at one point. If I just minimize everything, it'll show up. There it is. There's 106 again, tops right there yesterday, like we talked about. This is a name, again, I think we'll try the long here, 106 or so on AMD. So that's a name that I like here with only 7 minutes to go. Apple, costs, AMD, and DATS, guys.
Just watching, okay, there's a couple other meme type stocks, if you want to mention it on those terms, that we should discuss, guys. CEI, Camber Energy, again, almost 10 million shares here in the pre-market. Also, BBIG, Vinco Ventures, one that we talked about a little bit late in the session yesterday, up here again today, 7.5%, very active in the pre-market as well. We're trying to clear on Vinco anyway, some pretty significant levels.
7 even is that number I think that we're getting at here on Vinco Ventures. CEI feels a little bit like, if CEI gets to like like that 193, that $2 range, it's obviously a good one. Vinco, $7 will stand out because when it got to 12 even, that was the initial pullback here for support. It then had another day at holding below that, and then recent resistance at 7 even on BBIG. So this is going to sort of stand out. Obviously, it just spiked into that range before a bit of a pullback. I was short this name at 670, so I'm looking at this afternoon where I happened to get out twice, was right around the 640, 650 area, and then it broke past there right after market. So on a dip, I'd be looking back to those levels at 640. There was enough buying in that range that maybe that resistance, I mean a bit of a top wick there, could turn into support. So watch out for like a 640 pullback, but Vinco stands out for a $7 break on the daily chart and here as well. So we want to make sure we're locked and loaded there. CEI was fantastic last week. Last week, you could have called it the CEI week. I think this week, it's a little bit of a different story. We need to see it travel a heck of a lot more before we get into that one.
Okay, here we go. Look at cost right now. Bang to the upside. Cost just going 70. I mean, it's always a good morning when you have two positions on 175 cents in the money and still ripping to highs here. This may be one that we just get the heck out, man. This is now $1 and change. Wow, there goes cost, man. When the pins line up, man, do you take them. And here we go to the upside. Another banger here for us. Wow, this is starting to go now. Cost, wow, big move to the upside. I mean, this is why, again, we talked about that with Jude there on the chat. Checking out to sticky note, man. This is what we're talking about. Check out our watch list every single day. We're rocking and rolling. Bang right there, already at day's one daily goal right there. We haven't said that in a while because I chose not to say that, but hey, there it is, man. 2 for 2 with costs as we continue to go to the upside. Let's see if we can make just as much money today as we did yesterday, as costs starting to go right now. Also, DAT's starting to go. Wow, what a good morning, man. I hope a lot of you traders out there are enjoying this as well so far here. And we do have that reel up when we talked about the sticky note. You can find that on Instagram as well. So a big day for me today to start with, and I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far and have some of these names on your watch list as well.
All right, RLX Technologies, bottom end of the list today. A little one gapping up on positive news. Not a huge gap, but definitely into noteworthy levels to discuss on the daily chart. 550, 540. If you go back far enough, a big area of resistance for RLX. So just watching again, actually I have 530 on here. It's 540, 550, that whole area. We broke down already, so that got me involved in this. We were trading down around 450 yesterday for RLX, guys.
So just remember, we talked about this 24 area, and look, I'm not saying cost is going to halt at the open, but there is a decent chance. I mean, it's put in some of the move here, so the 22 break doesn't come until a little bit later on, which gives it a chance to actually break through the high without halting. If it consolidates around 23 and then makes a 24 break, you'd be looking at that 25 level, which could be like your potential halt point. Always going to take some profit out in front of that 23, so it's like it's in and out on a breakout trade, but I want to hold on to a core position here. Someone was putting in the old prices when this thing gapped up and had all that squeezing going on. I think we can forget about some of that nonsense. Look, we're not going to any of those prices here today. Is it possible that we can at least get to like a 26.5, which is the only significant levels outside of essentially right here 24? This high here, which is a pre-market high, is going to be that 26.5. And if that gets blown out, you really are starting to talk about this getting out of hand into the upside. I think we're going to have halts if that's going to be the case. So put that in your back pocket. You always got to take profit on these names because the reality is that's not as big of a headline, I think, as people are realizing. And it's just a thinking. And it's one of those names that's probably going to come back. Whether it's today or not, or whether it's tomorrow, you want to be taking some of this profit. There's probably people that were in this consolidation at 19 looking for an exit. You got to, if they get a chance at like 30 to 50% returns up in this range at like 25 to 27, I think they're going to be taking it.
Yeah, we took a bunch out there at 22. Where was our price there? 22.80, 22.78s or so. So again, I mean, we're long here, 21.19s. So that was a big win for us. I'll wait to see. It looks like there's some sort of an iceberg here at 22.53. Yeah, good luck with that, champ. That's going to get taken out soon, most likely as well. We're into AMD now through that, so we'll see what happens with AMD also on the board now. So we just took that break of 106. So far, so good. I mean, what is happening here to us today as AMD just rips right up there on that 106 break up to 106.30 right there. So yeah, man, things happening, and we're super, super happy with everything today. Just continues to make some money to the upside. We just got another fill there on cost. Like I said, good luck holding that there, 22.53. There's another out for us there on cost. So we'll see what happens at the high side now. Now we can afford to just to sit around and wait. We have a decent amount of shares now, so we'll wait for that one. And then AMD, we'll see what happens with this. But right now at 28 already, 36s, guys. Wow, this has been, I mean, I don't even know what is going on today, but so far so good with some of these calls, man. This is why I'm sticking with the sticky note names, and we'll just see if they can continue to pay off. Let's watch out for AMD here, guys, off the open.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-market, you're going to see the actual NASDAQ getting to 0.6, right? So you're getting a bump in the market. That's dragging some names up. One that's not going up is GWH from yesterday. Remember, this was like, it's day 3 for this stock. It's already it already put in a triple at yesterday's close, almost a quadruple in the last couple of sessions. It is looking like it's coming back up. In the afternoon, if you remember, about 25.5 to 25. 25 was a monster level all day long. There was some buyers there. I think that's where the resistance is going to be. If I get a chance to play at 25 short to reversal, I'm going to go ahead and do that at 9:30. Do not want to get away from this one because it was probably the wildest stock in the market in yesterday's action. I anticipate there could be some waves again here today. We talked a little bit about SoFi last couple of days. The only thing I want to look for in SoFi is a possible dip back into the 1850 range. You can see right here. 20 seconds until the open. Already lots moving here, guys. I'm watching that BBIG to see if it does make a bit of a breakout, and then SoFi on a potential dip buy. That's been relatively strong, and that GWH could be going crazy. Costs, watch out. If it takes 24, could potentially halt to the upside. Ms. V is back, and she's in the green appropriately. 2-1, ring it.
All right, thank you, Ms. V, for that one. A good little bell ring there. We'll see what happens now as the market is now open. And we're getting ready to rock and roll here. So we do have a DATS offer. Oh, did we get filled? 99s is our offer here on DATS. So we'll see where that goes now. Hopefully it can come back to the upside. But some of these stocks now starting to fade out a little bit. Cost, DATS, AMD all fading to the downside. Oh, AMD, hell no, not AMD. AMD, a nice little rip up to 107 right now. There's that 106 bid that we're talking about. We have it, and we're super happy. We got some out there at 50. Let's wait to see where AMD goes from here, guys. Good trade so far.
Yeah, and the cost comes right back, but holding for now at that 22 level. Kind of thought we'd dip into 21. We were sitting there in front of that 21 level to see if we could catch a bit of a bid. It's got a very, very tight range. Look at this, like 22 to 23, almost on a dime. Want to watch out for that. GWH is only going one way, and it is not giving you a pop. It is falling like an absolute rock here. I want this to the short side. It might not give me a chance for that 25. I might have to shoot for the former pre-market high at 23 if it pops. And if it halts to the downside, I want to see if I can get in on that halt on GWH. Was that Brennan already?
GM, guys, big flush at the open here on a volume spike, 59 down to 58.5. Not a huge move, but they just said the Volt production halt is going to be extended for GM.
Volt production halt. Okay, yeah, that doesn't sound great there, but
we'll wait. Giving the bill to LG or something.
They did some sort of a deal the other day. Okay, there goes DATS through 17. So yeah, man. I mean, so far so good today. As we'll do a little bit of a backflip, or what is it? Yeah, backflip. Okay, good. That was in our younger days when we did that. But right now it looks like it's going to start to move to the upside. A big win here for DATS. 73 cents in the money for DATS. $1 in the money for AMD. As we just continue to rock and roll. What's up, Trader Prad? Hope you're having a good morning as well. We're getting ready to rock and roll here, man. DATS up. We can check out some Palantir. People loving Palantir right now in the chat. I didn't even get to look at that today. $24 for Palantir. Hell yeah, spin that money. If anybody defended that 23 level the other day. But right now, yeah, nice move upside here. Palantir rocking, DATS rocking. Cost is the only thing that's rocking to the downside right now. But this may be a good bid here for Cost.
No, Cost just sort of battled back a little bit there, although I just missed it's 50-minute chart. Sorry, guys. I was just able to get that bid in front of this pre-market level here. Previous pre-market low, that was 21.33. It did spike up to 21.80, and I just missed a chance to get some profits. Might have to go into like the 60 to 70 range if we want to rinse and repeat that one. I did also pick up that Delta bid. Remember we said on Delta, if Delta wanted to hold, I wanted to hold that 42 level. The only thing I wanted to do was sit in front of Delta. We got 42 quarters, just got some out in front of 42.50. I'll go ahead and get some offers out in front of 42.75 as well. I mean, right, quarters in front of 42. It's just, you guys know the drill by now, I hope. So we'll get over to that. Apologies not getting to Moderna and this sucks because remember that level? It's that 314 to 317. Well, it actually broke that to the upside. So watch out. The next level is 322. Should be the next resistance on Moderna. If it takes that one out, Moderna actually has a shot at a break back to the upside if it can take out 322. So I know I've been pretty bearish on that name, but I mean, that actually could change today if it breaks that 22. Vinco Ventures is getting right up to that $7. The break could be imminent.
Yeah, someone said, how is that? That's pretty good, man. It went up 1730 there, and now we'll wait to see where we go from here. But so far, so good on DATS. We're almost out of it. So, you got to watch out for some of these levels. We did talk about them, 1650 that we like, so we tick that. Goes up to 1730. Remember, you can't be too greedy on some of these plays, but again, we'll wait to see if there's any reload possibilities coming through right now on DATS. The one thing that we didn't clean out, really, that we should have was AMD when it just went crazy there. So we'll wait to see if it can go. But look at the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ fading right now. So this is going to be one of those problem situations where if you're going to be long a name like this, you could run into some problems as AMD, big attachment to the NQs. So we'll wait to see if it keeps going upside. But we still have that dollar winner. We're super happy with it. But right now it has to go even a little higher for me. Nice little dump down here in the NASDAQ. Let's see if this one can go. AMD starting to go. The real one that's been the real disappointment, now we're already up on the stock and we've crushed it, was costs. This was a big trade for us down here. I don't even know why this didn't fill in. There's a gap here in our chart. But this 2240, we got some out 2280, but now you're falling back into costs. So we did look at some lower levels and we actually wrote it down here. Patent versus Apple, 4.4 million free float. Short squeeze, watch out for 20. So it's coming back into 20. It's got to make sure I have some bids down here.
Oh my goodness. So I got out of my cost. I reloaded, was able to get some out to 21.75, and it broke 21. So going to get out of that one. I'm into that like BBIG, that 7 break. It's actually at 7. It got to 713. But wow, GWH, this is still absolutely dying. I do only want to play this in one direction today, and I said it was going to be the short, but I have to work myself into this. And now it might be off the 22 level. So at some point, I don't want to keep chasing this down, but it's just dying like an absolute rock here. I don't want to play into it if I can. Tesla here, another name that I feel like we didn't get to, starting to pull back as well, despite the fact the market is looking strong. So Tesla down, only up 0.2%. The NASDAQ was just screaming, but Tesla originally selling off. I thought if it got to 800, that could be a good look, but I kind of feel like if you're going to dip by Tesla, it might have to be a little bit closer to that previous resistance at 805.
Thank you, Ms. V, for the coffee. A little coffee alert there. So that's good. We
don't knock it over.
We talked about that because I'm tending to knock these things over when they're put right there. So thank you, Ms. V, for that. It's great to have her back, and I'm sure that everybody in the chat appreciates that as well. Check out AMD, man. I mean, look, you guys know the way I trade. Some of these meme stocks, I mean, I like them, but I don't absolutely love them. But you guys know where the good is at right now, so we'll spin this for $2 winner right now on AMD. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we talk about here every single day on the show, man. Pick up strong stocks, pick them up while you can, and pick them up while they're on sale, right? So if you go here, you can check out the sticky note right here. It's right here. Been looking at this 106 for a while. Should break and head to 107 plus. I mean, what else can we do? That's the sticky note right there for you. I think that's a pretty good call so far. What's up, Brendo?
Sean, you mentioned BlackBerry. Here's the headline, guys. Partnership with OKTA, Mimecast, Stellar Cyber, and XM Cyber on a software side of things. So here goes BB as well, 7% on volume.
I just picked up some plug on a dip. Ignore these wicks. Plug did not print to $30. If it printed to $30, I'd be long at $30. We kind of already said that to you guys. But it did make a dip buy. I said I only wanted to buy on the dips, not the breakouts. And you're going to see the breakout and immediately reverse itself, and we're right back into this 32 level. Of course, we talked about the Airbus deal that they're able to get. I will trim some for sure in front of those pre-market highs if it gets back there, but I'll give it back down to this like 31, 40-ish range, where it had a bit of a break at 7 a.m. or just after 7 a.m. when retail popped into this name. So Plug Power, first position into it. I'm not actively chasing the GWH, but still trying to get in on the offer of this stock because it's trying to get back into the upside. It's already fallen $4 without somehow halting, which is a bit perplexing because this is a strong move to the downside. At any moment, this is one of those high threat halt type names, but Plug, the new entry for me to the long side.
Yeah, what was that, 21.22 there on cost? Possible there to get some in. Okay, so 108 right now on AMD. I mean, a good trade, man. This is $2 for us in the money. Just continues to rock and roll. This could be, again, I don't know, should I just hold this or get this out for the trade of the day right now? This 108 is right here. I mean, we take a 106 break right up to 108. We could just simply take this out and not even worry about it right now. So this might be a good trade, and we don't have to worry about the NASDAQ. So this is right here at 108. We could take it out for the $2 and then just laugh our way to the bank here today, as it's been a big, big day. So yeah, you're wearing your good job, Angel, there, wearing your Palantir shirt today. We're wearing our AMD hats, our Palantir hats, everything every single day, man. I'm a big investor into both of these names. So not only do we bang for Palantir, thanks for that one, man. Slaying that dragon up back upside, man. Palantir, a big move today, up 2%. That's great for them. I didn't even notice them breaking through 24. I hope that's a hella long for a lot of you out there. Hopefully you have that long there on Palantir. Great trade right now through 24. Good job if anyone has that. Brendan always has something though.
When one of these little ones starts to go, typically we get follow through on many others. Here's GSAT, guys. That satellite company up about 10%. On a huge volume spike there at the open for GSAT.
Now, speaking of things that begin with G, I did finally just get into GWH. Like I said, I didn't want to chase it too far. I did short it in front of 22 even here, so 21.88. We'll take probably a couple of shots at this one. I think I almost have to, just to keep in context of how far this thing could either go up or down. This is the last couple of days in GSAT. And I think until it gets above 25, you're not going to convince me that this isn't a strong risk of getting back into the $15 to $16 range. So I'm in GWR right now. I didn't reload yet into costs. I kind of want to sit that one out for a little bit. BBIG is holding the top end of the range after the break. I wasn't looking to take 10 cents on the trade. Obviously, if it's going to hold out, that 670 is where we were short in the previous session yesterday. That's exactly where it just bounced off now. So it wants to hold that consolidation. I'll grab some more longs there, but that's sort of like that line in the sand. It was a great short that I took off too early. That's where I think the dip should be to. And now that it's held once, we can start working into it. And then, as I just said in GWH, like I'm not taking 50 cents to $1 in that stock. It has to give you more than $1, even though it's only $20. Trust me, it can move more than that.
Microsoft taking off here as well. What's up, Brendan?
CRISPR, guys, big volume spike. It was down huge on negative results for CRSP. Want to mention this one as well real quick. DraftKings agreement with Turner Sports, Bleacher Report to be the exclusive sportsbook for NHL coverage. Hockey fans rejoice. DraftKings up 2.5%.
Love some DraftKings. We did sell that at 62, trying to get back in right now. But look at this big bid there. That's not even the right one. We have to erase that and get going here. AMD right now. Look at this buy. We talked about this over and over again on the show. 106 break, right? It's on the sticky note. So now you're up to 108.65. This is a $3 winner right now on AMD. Hopefully 109 coming right now as the NASDAQ starting to take places out right now. Big win for us. $3 here, $3 on AMD. Hopefully you guys have this. If you don't, that's fine. But right now, feeling pretty good about how today's day trade has gone. Obviously, costs, I mean, we're able to get out of that. And now we're just holding. But I'm still trying to hold for 19. If it fails down here. But it's trying to bounce off a little bit. We are going to average into this position. I do have a bid right around here, I thought, anyways. 20. Oh, no, it's down to 2040. Okay, that should be a little bit, that should be higher. So it should be in here. So we'll try to get some more costs right now as AMD, man, just ripping it out right now. 109, guys. Wow. $3 here on AMD. And
just as quickly as we got into the dip buy unplugged power, it tests right down here. We got 31.90 as you saw there. Takes them out for the 232 quarter. Takes them out in front of that pre-market high. So we'll hang on to absolutely nothing of this because now that it's actually held a higher low, I want to be buying every single dip. Now I can start looking at that breakout trade, which is the secondary one. I just finally got into some more shares of DATS there as it does that little attempted wipeout, holds the lows. I mean, it never even came to that 15 level, holds the lows and even the higher low at 1570, and now's the time to get back in at that 16 range. So if it holds a higher low, I think we're retesting at least up to that $17 range that we had before. And as I said, that GWH, like it's already come back down towards these lows at 21. The short is at 21.88. It pops $1 in the money. That's when I think I can start taking some shares out. But if this breaks 20 even, I'm expecting that it has a chance to halt down, and I want to take advantage of that if I can by holding through any potential halt. So it breaks the low there. I think it's going to be a hold for me.
Okay, and there it is. Oops, sorry about that. We went over to AMD there, and there it is, man. We take the full dollar, or the full $3 pretty much. I mean, it was $2.75 there as we go bang on that one, and we take it out. So that's a good trade there for us. What just happened to DATS? I tried to get some out there on DATS. It whipped up to 1620. We did tell, oh, that was the bid that I put down there. Okay, so I didn't put a cost when I put a DATS bid down there. So now we're long at 16 bucks. We'll see where we go from here. We just offered 16.10s. It rejected it. So now we'll see if it can break through 16. It looks like it's having a little bit of problem here with that chat at 16. So let's debate maybe getting some out as we just got a nice little average in there. Let's see if we get some out right now. It looks like it doesn't want to go, but just tried there again at 16.10 and failed. So I think we'll take some risk off here on DATS.
Yeah, and sort of speaking of the big movers, I guess we should say, because I'm kind of focusing on those ones because they are what's the flavor of the day. Cost, like I said, I stopped out when it broke that 21 even area, but it's actually held the pre-market low. So dipped out of that one while holding on to DATS. Just worth noting, if it goes any further, I still like this $19 to $20 area from yesterday's action. But if you think about the move, it has not even been that big yet. And now it's actually setting up. The longer it consolidates down here, you're starting to set up for a 21, I mean, this level here is about 21.30. A 21.30 break is starting to set up. The longer it holds this consolidation, the more I'm going to like that idea, guys. So I'm going to get into that one in a little bit. Tesla, for me, the next, it might be Moderna, but Tesla for me, if this retests this low again, it's about 805 that I was saying could be that level. It's trying to get back down here. The market's still looking relatively strong, so I kind of want Tesla to be participating as well. It's only flat on Tesla, but I think it could really go. We talked about it holding above 800. This could be the day that it does it, especially if the market rebounds after that Apple news.
Yeah, big time. So we're still trying to cook with some gas here. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're looking at this DATS. We did take a little piece out there. We talked about that when it was right there. So again, trying to be as honest as we possibly can with our positions here. And you can see them on the board. I only have two right now. It's costs in a little bit of trouble for sure. And DATS, I don't think DATS is in trouble at all. I mean, we're long at 15.85. We've already made a lot of money on this name, so we can take another dime right now if we wanted to. Let's see if it goes through 16 though one more time. Here we go. Okay, so again, here's another 15 cents. We're sort of in scalp mode right now with DATS, but here we go. Take out 16 and we'll see where we can go from here with a deal with Barstool. El Presidente. What's up, Dave Portnoy? Come on our show, my man. Here it goes. Let's go. Another one right there. Yes, sir. DATS starting to run, man. What day are we having again? Glad to have you back though, Miss V. What up?
Hey Sean, NIO is up around 2%. Do you guys see any opportunities for yourself today in NIO?
So I mean, I was sort of looking at the dip buy in Tesla, and I think that would probably go to NIO as well. But and apologies, we'll probably get to that a little bit deeper. But I just noticed that JSPR, your SPAC of the day, has now halted a second time into the upside. Like, how many of these are going to do this? You saw that GWH, which, by the way, just took some out there. It's now taking out those lows, so that's going relatively well. But JSPR here, 2 times halted. This stock was at $18 when it opened up here, when SPAC deal cleared, and then $13.50 is the level to watch. There is going to be a monster short on this one at some point today, and I anticipate that I am going to have it, and I might take multiple swings at it. GWHR eventually, you can see that was at 29, now it's at 21, and I'm short at 22 on this thing. I think JSPR is going to have the same type of move. I'll look every single time it reopens. The first level here is I'm going to watch is 1350. For the short, I have to double check to make sure we have the locates, of course, which I'm going to go do right now.
Alrighty. Yeah, there's some nice moves happening in the market today. That is for sure. Look at DATS, man, right back to 16 and change right there. Let's check out on our AMD. We did get out. Good out. Yes, sir. Wow, man. Wow. Yeah, good out there on AMD, man. 108.80 right there. I think we can stamp AMD right now for the trade of the day. DATS was a good one as well. Long there. Okay, now it filled out there. Long there, long again. Out, out, out. Out the first part there. Out the second part there. Long again. This could also be the trade of the day, DATS. What's not going to be the trade of the day is going to be costs. I thought I put a bid here, and I have one now, but we did miss that bid. So we should have had a bid down there on costs, which would have made this out a little bit better. But right now, we just took some more out there. Again, first fill there, next fill there, and now we'll wait to see where we go on costs. So yeah, hopefully to the upside. But yeah, it looks like it's getting faded out a little bit. Only up that 10% off of Apple news. I do see a systematic, and I think I agree with you there, Shakib. What's up, Shakib? Oh, Hydration Nation as well, guys. Stay hydrated. Ever since we've been drinking some water, we're pretty much on fire here. So I agree with that. And also Daily Vitamins here, sponsored by Kirkland. get your Costco shares while they're on sale because they don't go on sale very often, that's for sure. But okay, I think there could be some systematic buying in Chinese names, right? So Alibaba now, NIO, you see the big run up in NIO today, still moving. Ooh, 36.50 right now, looking good on NIO, up that 3%. So right now, some of these Chinese names getting some steam. So let's wait to see what's going on. Yeah, Miss V, Miss V's lucky for sure, but we've been doing this for a hell of a long time. No red days in September, no red days in October, and I could just close the platform right now and that streak would be alive. So, but we're not going to do that. We're trading. There goes JP Morgan. I also said, watch out for 160 on JP Morgan. Hello to the downside. So yeah, things happening right now, guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wanted to short JP on a pop and it never came in. So there's plenty to trade. The bottom's about to fall out on GWH if it breaks this 20. I'm holding through that. I don't care. Plug Power, we do have our bid in to see if we can't get that breakout through now 32 even. So just a quick recap on Plug. You already saw, whoops, didn't flip. Come on. Yeah, so you already saw, he just actually took that 33. I want to buy dips as well, so I just got the re-entry as I was saying it, and it rejects the 33 bid. The dip buy was fantastic, 31.90s. Now I'm shooting VWAP, 32.50 here if we can get it. It just reopened, sorry, JSPR just reopened, not it, it's an actual stock. JSPR just reopened, so I want to be all over this one. Remember, 13.50 could be that level where I would jump in front of it regardless of a halt. It's already halted twice, a third time to the downside, and I would use that downward halt to try to get into a short position as well. But let's let it settle itself out a little bit first.
Yeah, some of these stocks are spicy right now, coming back to the downside. So we got to look for some opportunities, man. Maybe there is going to be one. Wow, Palantir saying, hold my beer to this market right now, as it is still upside. I mean, obviously the NASDAQ is still up, but we are fading back in. Palantir trying to hold out highs here. So watch out. Any dip buys possibility here for this name, obviously, coming through. PLTR 24.15 there, resisted that. We just took another one on DATS right there. So the cash cow that is DATS just continues to pile up for us today. We're paying those bills today with DATS, that's for sure. So a nice little move to the upside. Cost coming back in. So there's the long. We talked about trying to wait for that. So now we have a better position on cost. No idea how good better actually is because we're not out of it. So we'll wait to see. We just took a fill right there at 35. I'm going to give you the exact price. 37 fill on cost. So a 37 fill there on cost. So now we have an average price of $21.39. We're out of the money $1. It's not great, but it's not horrible. We'll see if it can hold this 19. That's kind of what we're looking for there. But it's getting a little bit too spicy. We don't need to have this many shares, so maybe we won't. As cost looks like it's going to break, we will get out of this if it breaks through 1950. But nice little rebound back to the upside here. Maybe we'll take a piece out.
Yeah. So people asking about Moderna. I saw 320 in the chat there. Obviously, I'm trying to get into this at JSPRs. It's absolutely tanking, and I'm not going to chase this any farther. Obviously, I'm not going to get into this position. But Moderna, for me, it was 322 was the level. I know it got to 321, so I didn't get into that short position. But wow, JSPR. I was just chasing it from like 1160 when it broke the halt price. If it halts down, I still want to see if I can't get into it in that regard. But that just came down after the reopen like an absolute rock. Brendo?
Line RX, a little one that had some positive results pre-market on a study that they're currently working on, just popping back up here through $3 on volume there, guys. 12% for BLRX.
Okay, alert. Apple, we're finally into Apple right now. It comes down to this bottom we just put this out here as a sort of a Hail Mary, 139 on Apple. So we still have some of these bottoms, 139 flat. If we break that, we're gone. So right now we'll average in a little bit to Apple, but we are long 139.80 right now. We'll take a little piece out if we can get it, and then we'll work from there. But right now, Apple on what appears to be a move to the downside, obviously, as the NASDAQ coming out right now. So we'll see if Apple can get going. I do have an offer just before 139 here to 140, sorry, to get out. So not to get out, just to scalp some out. We'll see if we could take 20 cents quickly on this name. And again, a 20-cent win, I'll take that all day. So we'll see if it can come through here, and we'll take that, and then we're going to wait for the rest of it. Our DATS, I have 8% of the positions that I've had in total, and every single position's been a winner. So this one may come to the downside here. Looking for a breaking spot on DATS, where to get out if we're wrong. We're going to hold that cost. We talked about living dangerously with that one. It looks like that's what we're going to do today, like we did with the firm yesterday. But this DATS level here of 1530, I don't want to be in it if it breaks that, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking a little bit, actually, yeah, it was 15.30 actually where my offer is, so it's pretty much exactly the same price. But I gotta go to that Tesla for a quick second because the spike down in the market and someone rightfully noting the VIX pushing to the upside as well, that's gonna take me all the way away from getting an 805. There's just no way I want this one to the long side. But it might put me into Moderna here a little bit sooner than I liked it at 322. If I get a chance to play off the current high and then work into something in like the 19 half range to the short side, you can still use that 22 level. But with the market falling off here and the VIX sort of getting a bit of a bump, I do want to get away from buying the dip in Tesla if I can. That JSPR now is on the move, so I didn't chase it, and now it's coming back into the upside, rejecting the high once again. If it halts up, I no longer want that long into the halt type idea because it's already halted up twice. I usually try to get that only the first time. A third halt to the upside, right into that 1350 level, that's going to get really spicy because 1350 to me was that level on the daily chart. It's about to halt right now, so JSPR, Jasper is halting. Maybe I'll go a little, if I can get like a small position, like just for a bit of a tester, because there's still about 70 cents to that 1350 range. Yeah, there it goes. And resists the halt. That means it's going to be a short.
Yep. JSPR started to go right there, so we'll have to see what's going to go on with that one. But right now, Jasper looking like it wants to go to the downside, but we'll see here. 1240. Wow, just crazy name again. Like what a wild ride some of these names are. We're in a couple of them that are pretty wild right now. Apple, not really wild, but cost is 1950. We talked about that as our out, so we'll wait to see if 1950 comes through as an out there. And we're waiting for Apple to start going as well. We're going to check out some crypto names as right now Ethereum trying to go. Hold on a second. This is, I don't think that's accurate. There it is. Yeah, nice little dump off here from 35 down to 34.40. So we're going to watch out for Ethereum starting to go now as well. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm really, really proud. Let's check if this happens. AMD, man. Okay. So we pulled out AMD, right? And we talked about this 108. It was actually 109 there on a longer term time frame. So that's why we dumped that. Look at this trade, guys. 106 in, 108 out. We did take 50 cents on the first bit. We always do that. And then we've trying, and I think we're pretty successfully holding some of these plays to the upside. How's that JSPR right now?
So a quick reversal, like you see, just as quickly as it resisted that halt. And again, so in that 15 seconds, it doesn't halt to the upside. It can only print down, not up. You see it rejected to the downside. It's usually a simple entry for me, which is going to be short at the price where the first consolidation happens. It happened to be right here at 1230, where it's basically barcoding. And then you risk about 40 or 50 pennies into this top. If it makes a fresh high, I'm out. If it flushes from here, I want to cover at least half the position into the previous halt price at 1160 and then hold the rest for further flush. So we'll see what happens there. But into this JSPR, these types of halt plays, when they happen, they tend to take over for me because there's just a bigger risk. Obviously, risk to reward on these is gigantic. So it goes without saying that my attention is going to be on this name. If it flushes from here and looks like it's going to halt down, I would hold shares, at least some shares, through a downward halt if it does happen. Takes out the top, all bets are off till 1350.
Okay, we're going to go 139.20 here as a little bit of a bid there for Apple. And by the way, DATS, guys, I mean, the Superman just continues on this name as we just take another win. We hold it down here to the downside. We talked about where our outs would be, and then bang, nice little win back to the upside and get out some more DATS. I mean, what a great day this has been. Let's just hope that costs can continue to move upside, or not continue, I mean, start to move upside as costs making lows here, getting ready for that 1950 break. We can't hold this long if it does come back down. It'll be a losing trade after all. Unfortunately, it just doesn't want to go. This was a name that we tried, and it was working until it didn't, and that's cost. That's the story of cost. What's up, Brendan?
They definitely did not like whatever was said on the call today for JP Morgan, because this thing opened and has just gone straight down. Basically, I see green candle on a 3-minute chart, guys, for JPM to the downside.
Yep, we talked about that. I mean, I talked about fading it. I sold early. I sold at 156. So I was, waiting to see if that was going to be a mistake or not on JP Morgan. But I'm still concerned about Apple. I'm not in JP Morgan right now, so I have Apple on board. So we're going to see if this one can make a move back to the upside. We're averaging in 139.20 is where my bid is. That's still 13 pennies in the money as well.
And I actually had 2 stops instead of I should have had 1 in that JSPR. You're going to see me actually take a couple of legs out here. And unfortunately get this 13 level as well. It is heading towards that 1350. I was just covering, like I said, I actually covered half here instead of the entire thing. Had to get the rest out. DATS is recovering, but I'm not getting that stock. Either it's above 1625 or it's not. The next trade for me is going to be in that JSPR almost for sure. Just to come back to Moderna for a brief second here. I know this is going to be the next one I don't care. That JSPR is getting my attention. Moderna spiked up to that 321, and I did say, instead of waiting for that 332, it can be an entry around this 320 area, but I'd have to go a little bit smaller. So I'll probably take a third of what I would like at 320, leaving myself some room and hopefully not chasing it too far. Why is it every time I say I'm getting into the short position, it just spiked down like 80 pennies on me? So look, if I either get it in front of the 320, I'm not chasing this another dollar down. That's a little bit too crazy. But for me, back to that JSPR, because this is the one that's really starting to move here. And that 1350, by the way, it holds at 1330. So I don't know. Like, I feel like if I had jumped in early on this name, I could have already been in this one in front of that 1330 area. And now I get that Moderna. So thankfully, I didn't chase an extra dollar. 319.86. I'll add one more time in front of 322, but that's the area stop for me. That's the big one.
Yeah, let's see if we can put the Midas touch here on Jasper. JSPR. We'll have a look at this one time here. Yeah, I mean, I probably got to pay for shorts in this, I imagine. Yeah, so that would be a great short. Are you short 1330 or just waiting? Because
I should have been.
Yeah, because right now, man, I mean, that's a couple double tops there, triple tops, even at 13. So we'll wait to see what happens. For me, don't know much about this, so I'll stay away. But I mean, the volume picking up to both sides, man. We have some bid volume and some sell volume I mean, there it goes, right there, just ripping through. So, yeah, this is what I mean, man. I don't want to touch this. We already have enough of these plays going right now. But Jasper right now, wow, what a great move to the upside. Anybody that was long this name, congratulations today, 87%. And again, coming up too. I mean, you can, just click this, man. Maybe, Brendan, if you actually have our watch list loaded, we can show Jasper Therapeutics on that. Hit that if you're watching it on PC. Just go to watchlist.tradertv.live, and then you can get that. But a lot of people on their cell phones right now, hopefully, are just sitting there watching it, maybe on their PC. You can use your cell phone for that. A lot of people like to get their watch list on their mobile, right? So there it is right there. So all is well, man. Jasper's still starting to go. Apple came right back into the money for us, and we're just going to wait on it. So we're still waiting to see if we can get a 140 print. If that happens, fantastic. We would love to get that print. We are averaging in. I should have took the 50s there, but again, with Apple supply issues, just seems to be a little bit of a risk. Thank you for all the new follows as well on Instagram. I mean, we put up some really fun reels and some real fun things here. So if I can just show it to you quickly. We did have Nick Leeson on the other day, so that's up here as well. The closing show, that little fun thing that Rob did for us yesterday that gave everybody, nightmares with all that cutting. And then we have a pretty cool thing, a video here about our sticky note this morning that's also up there on the reels. And then this was super fun. The reason why I trade is right here. It's these two. And then we have another big guy. I don't know where, my main man's not even in this picture, Baxter, but he was here as well. So, yeah, he's going back to school today to university. They're on their early reading week. And then we talked about John Deere as well. Get on that tractor. And then shout out to my dad, who we went golfing. That's my brother and my dad. That was a fun time. I'm thinking you could still get out one more time this year, if not a few more. It's 23 degrees today here in Toronto.
It's actually pretty
75 degrees, guys.
It's actually ridiculously hot. It's even hot in here. I was saying that in the pre-market. So I'll talk about that 1350 area. Look, I shorted it multiple times with some relatively tight stops in between. And then look, at 1350 breaks, we went to the long side. There's air up here. So if it halts, I'm trying to hold through the next halt, especially if it can break 15, because this is $18 up here. So I can actually take one leg off in front of that 15 if I can. And then if it breaks that, I'd look to probably reverse into thinking about shorts in front of 18 at that particular point, but this one looks like it's absolutely jailbreak, and if 15 goes, we're probably staring at a halt and then a test of that 18, which to me is that's like a lose your day type of short idea in front of 18. Brendan, time for some happening now. What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock was just noticing Captain Kirk getting ready to blast off in Blue Origin today as well. We didn't mention that in the pre-market, but yeah, pretty good day so far. We are trying to get back to positive territory here for the S&P, down 0.15, 0.45 still for the Dow, but the NASDAQ leading the way, offsetting some of this weakness. Otherwise, here in Toronto, 0.2 for the TSX. Energy bouncing back, it looked like a little bit today, helping. Yeah, earnings in the pre-market were not good. We just talked about JP Morgan. I'll flip over quickly, guys, and show you this one as well. Delta, straight, right now, day lows on Delta, straight to the downside since the open, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, firm running. Yeah, yesterday we had some nice Affirm trades as well, so we can watch out for Affirm. Yesterday was an absolute monster for me. We had some 132 bids and whatnot yesterday. I don't know if again, I don't know if it's going to show up. Yeah, it's not going to or is it? No, it's not. We were buying these dips all day yesterday, so we'll see if we can do the same thing here with Apple today and costs and whatnot. But yesterday, Affirm was an absolute monster. And we keep saying that we love Affirm. And then today, right now, you're taking out, I believe, all-time high, not all-time, but close enough to it here on the 20 period. So we've just taken out all of these Amazon highs as well. And then if you go over to a daily chart, which at some point I'll find here, 20 minutes, daily chart here, you can see we're just rocking. This may be all-time. Yeah, it is. So we're just taking out all-time highs right now. Ooh, I wish I would have known that earlier. 147. I guess it's right here. You can still get it if you want. But all-time highs right now on Affirm being had. So great play on that. Amazon, Target. This is what happens when you strike deals with these bad boys. So a nice little move to the upside right here for Affirm, guys. Congratulations, anybody that's been long this one. An absolute beast of a trade there for Affirm. That Jasper, man, I know you were shorting it early, but that's a good long.
It just rejected 15 break pretty hard there. And look, I always talk about like a failed break, like it takes out 15 and then it just immediately just sells right back through it. And if that's going to be a short setup sometimes, then it's got to be, to me, a cover of the long. If it goes again, you can always look at a break of the new recent high at 1530. So, I still think there's room to go to 18 even. And, maybe I was a little bit late to reversing to the long side, but once it's halted twice to the upside, I tend to always look short first, so it gets to my chagrin. But that 1350 area was at least a TSN turning point for me. You guys are going to be like, what's the TSN turning point if you're not Canadian? But this 15 break, if it can't sustain it, maybe we're going to get that halt down. If it does take it out a second time, we're going to get into it again. DATS finally got to a level where it actually made sense to start taking some out. That's well above VWAP. Started getting some out here at 1640. I only want this back towards the 17 high. Otherwise, it's not going to be that interesting. Moderna is going to be more interesting. So I talked about taking some at 320 and then waiting for a test of that 322 level. That's starting to come. It hasn't gotten there yet, but that's what I want to be patient for. So waiting for Moderna to go just a little bit higher to test higher. I got some more plug out in front of that 33, so that one actually continues to be good. But Moderna is going to be the cause for concern, and I cannot get away from that JSPR. I kind of feel like this has maybe one more leg in it, and if it can take out that high of the day, then that could be the capitulation after that. So I still want to stick to this JSPR. It's trying to hold this consolidation at that 15 level, which bodes well for the bulls. Brendan.
Plug day highs here, guys, on a volume spike. We mentioned the Airbus ties this morning in the pre-market. If you joined us, just broke 33 there for plug.
I was just saying in the chat, what a day, guys. I mean, what an absolute monster of a day. Apple right now just pops exactly what we thought it would do, man. So we're long at 80. It's backing up through 140 flat there. We just took 20 cents on that one. So we'll do this again. And what up, Valeria, back in the business here. She's in the building right now, Valeria. So we'll get her on camera for you guys soon. Welcome back from her trip to beautiful Vancouver, BC there. Yeah, so far so good, man. Apple just continues to rock, man. This is now 30 cents in the money. So yeah, we're cooking with gas again one more time here today. Like, absolutely fantastic trading. DATS, I mean, what's up with that, man? That's what's up, because we're just straight upside right now. Another 50-cent win here for DATS. The only problem for us is cost, right? As there it goes, ooh, we took a long, I had a long bid there, and then we just got out, so we just, that's gonna look worse than it was, but it breaks through 1950 there. We gotta get some more out here on cost, as it's at that 1950. The next level is 19, but let's wait to see what happens. This stock has basically been straight to the downside. We were able to take some winners, which was nice, but this is the name. Only one loser today. It's gonna be cost, but definitely we have some other plays, as you guys can see, making up for that. So far so good here, as we'll wait to see if cost retests that, well, not retests, hits that 19, and then we'll officially be out of everything on cost, because this is too far on this name. What's up, Brendo? Valeria.
Hey guys, I'm so happy to be back, and I would love you to ask for likes. Please make sure you like this video, support the community, and make your input, because we're every day here for you. So guys, please be kind and destroy the like button.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Hit that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look, we're gonna be on what moves here, right? I'm not trying to ignore GWH, but every time we're in one of these shorts where it's like this stock is just dying, it's like hang on to it. So GWH, now after the 22, remember I wanted this one in front of 25. Forget about it. I had to chase it to 22, $3 down, and now it's breaking through 20 even. It's at 19 bucks. I still think you can get down to the 16, 17 area. So I am looking for about $5 of a winner here, like. And it might fall further than that, to be perfectly honest with you. You could always go a heck of a lot further, because this stock, like I said, it was $8 when this came to market like a couple of days ago and went up to 29. So lots of room for this to continue to fall. Brendan's got some more news for us. What do you got, bud?
On that DATS, guys, the Barstool agreement, a lot of people circulating this right now online. So this is right in the agreement, or taken from the actual agreement between Barstool Sports and DAT Chat. So the company paying Barstool, it says low seven figures, but it's $3 million. So it's DAT Chat paying Barstool, not the other way around, for anyone wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm wondering a little bit, but all I'm wondering is about if I need a bigger wheelbarrow or not right now, because right now we just took out Apple again for another win. Same trade, but it just pops right to VWAP and we get it out right there at 15. So 140.15 right there off of that long. So that's another 40-cent win there for Apple to the upside. So far so good here as we continue to rock and roll. The only, I keep saying the same thing about this cost. We're going to wait for 19 to break and see if we can find something else. Microsoft's been such a strong win, man. We got out of some Microsoft at, was it 296? I think I dumped some softy. I think it's right back to where, yeah. So we got out of some Microsoft. The only thing that we got out of some JP Morgan at 156. We got out of some Microsoft at 296. I can't believe that dipped to 280. That was a screaming buy and I missed it, so that sucks. But we're right back in, and then Apple was a recent dump of mine as well. Oh yeah, that's not gonna look good. 152, yeah, we gotta get rid of that chart. 152, we dumped Apple. That's getting close to being bought back as well by me because I don't wanna miss that move. So I think we could buy some Apple down here at 139, but for right now, we're long Apple for a day trade. We're 40 cents in the money. We're long that name, so we'll wait for that. Crypto kind of bouncing around, not doing too much. And then we'll just check back on JP Morgan. It looks like it did resist, actually, that 160 level. So that was a level that we talked about here. Forget about the daily chart C on that one. There's the 1 minute. So 161 bouncing off there. This might be a good spot here, 161.90. Maybe if we can find out if the conference call is over, because that might be an indication there. Yep. But we'll wait to see here going to the upside right now for JP Morgan.
So two things. First one will be just going to go to the 15-minute on Moderna here. You're going to see it finally get to that 322 level. So it tests higher, comes right back a little bit. So this is our second ad. I have one more spot that we can do. You know, I could have waited and not taken anything at 20, but I still think if it gets into, holding this 325 range, I should end up with about the same average price of like, a 322, as long as I'm adding at 324. So whether you get in once or two times or three times, as long as you have the amount of shares you want your stops on, I think that's all that really matters. DATS just put a bit of a pullback in there, so it's going to get interesting again. So just did a bit of a pullback, and I'm keeping the 15-minute chart up. So just to give an idea of if that 1530 goes, and I want to change the nature of my stop order here, so I don't want that type of a stop because then I can't buy back in. But if this 1530 goes, look at the gap that you have on DAT. So each time it comes down, I want to be getting a better price. I currently have a 67, so I'm looking to catch something probably in the 1540 to 1550 range. But if 1530 goes, that is a lot of room to the downside for this to go. So I would be at least a little bit careful holding anything through there. You can give an extra few pennies or so. I think that's not completely unreasonable, just given the range that the stock has had. But like I said, just be very, very careful with it. That GWH continues to fall now through 19. I'm just absolutely holding that one. There's nothing that's going to get me out of that except for it going. At this point, it would have to take out VWAP here. And I'm not even giving that back to 20. I'm not trailing it. I just want to be holding for dear life. And this JSPR, it looks like it's consolidating for another breakout. So it has room to that $18 range when the original SPAC deal came to market. So I'm looking to see if that can't be the hard top. We did cover our long when it failed at 15 even. Now looking to see if it retakes that level, which is about to right now. If it can sustain one of these breaks, I'm waiting for it to make an actual fresh high, and then there we go. It actually just did. Just got into it.
Okay, I'm making sure that I have that DATS sell right now just in case. Brendan mentioned there the news on DATS and it wasn't maybe as positive as people thought. So we'll wait. We're just not going to take a loser on that. That's all. So if this comes back down to 75 or actually I put it at 69. Did I just get out of DATS? No, I didn't. So if we have to get out there, we'll get out. But right now that's looking like not really an area of concern for me. But we just don't want to turn that. It's already been a hell of a profitable stock for us today. That's DATS. So we will just have to wait on that to see what happens. I'm going to take a stab here. It looks like we're going to get stabbed because JP Morgan's breaking right. Yeah, it's breaking right now.
What?
It's just breaking 161. So we took we took a little bit of a stab there at the 161 top. So again, we're long at 30s. It looks like this will be a 50-cent hit for us on JP Morgan. You never get into these positions very heavy when you don't, I don't think it's a long. So we just trying off this 161. It looks like it's going to break, and we're giving it a little bit more room. But right now with JP Morgan, obviously back to the downside. So that one, I can cancel my offer at 160.50. I don't think that's going to come through right now. And there it goes right back to the bottom. So we will flush ourselves down the toilet. I mean, we do have losers every once in a while with Koss and JP Morgan right now back down to the downside. So we'll see there as this is flushing, man. And like I said, it's very, very tough trading these things when there is earnings and conference calls coming through. So, hey, it looks like JP Morgan needs some work here as it's coming to the downside. This does not bode well for banks coming up here.
No, this is going to stink for Morgan. I promise you that.
Yep, exactly. So, but I mean, whatever. Morgan Stanley's on a huge run, so it's been a good win for anybody that's had that name. So,
quickly here, if I can, just because JSPR looks like, I'm not sure it's getting to that 18. I thought this was going to completely jailbreak, but it just failed a 16 break as well. So 16 up to 1637 on the first punch. I got some out in front of the 3/4 and then covered some in front of 16 as it slammed back down in. Now this breakout is threatening to go into the red. I don't want this getting below 15 even. Like, it's just, you guys know that usually I'm not playing these things to the long side. It's just that once it broke out sort of past that 1350, and I looked at the massive gap that is 1350. Like, it's 1 day of action from 1350 up to 18, and that's why I thought maybe it was going to get a chance to go there. But I don't want this turning on me. At some point, like I said, it's going to be a monster short, and I want that short. So obviously, I can't be short if I'm in a long position. That goes without saying, unless something has gone absolutely horribly wrong in the trading platform, obviously. But if it breaks 15, I'll cover it and then look for, not get into a short, but look for a short opportunity. I might not get that last, that third effort here at Moderna. I might not get to that 324, 325 already to get back in one last time. I will start covering it once in front of VWAP. I'll probably cover the next leg in the 16 to 17 range because remember, 16, 17 was a previous hard top, and the rest I want to hold for the bottom. This market just turned hard. But it's like the ES that's absolutely cratering. I'm sure the Dow's probably getting hit as well. With the NASDAQ,
Yeah.
The NASDAQ's holding positive right now. So
I didn't even realize, you just brought that up. I didn't even realize that.
I can't wait for Sector Watch, honestly.
Look at the ES right now. Good call on that one. What is dragging this right now? We're out of Apple. We still have a third of Apple. We'll see how low that one goes. But yeah, the ES making some lows here. Let's go over to Brendo.
CRXT and a little one making big moves. This is another, kind of like that JSPR, I think, another recent SPAC conversion. So 33% here for CRXT. All I can see is this coverage, Truist Securities initiating coverage with a 10 number on the price target, guys, for
No, it's not.
CRXT.
Right. I mean, that's the same thing. We're just talking about maybe it was the banks.
No, yeah, it's definitely the banks. Remember we said trouble for Morgan Stanley, and again, I apologize for these wicks. I can pull up a 15-minute chart because that's going to be better. I own Morgan Stanley, and I'm not very pleased with what I'm seeing here in terms of the price action. It's just a little bit weaker than I was anticipating first day. But if this 96 goes on Morgan, I mean, there's room. If you go back to the daily chart, sorry to do this, but if you break this 96, you're talking like 90, like give me a break. That's going to be if we break 96, I'm looking for buy opportunities there. I guess Jasper might not be done just yet. I was about to stick a fork in this thing to the long side because it was like, this is inevitable. It's going to break that 15. I'm going to get stopped out here. And there we go. Yeah, so it's going to trail me out right here. So that 15, I guess it was a 15.30 break. I got 37s. We're able to get some out in front of 16, but then it stalls out there and can't hold above. And of course, if I make that wick and this ends up still running to the high side, then it's pie in my face. But the reversal did work out for us here. If it does go higher than this, I'm probably going to be hunting for that short trade. I had to pay for some locates here to be able to catch it. But either way, I think it's going to be worth it when it comes in. Whether it's failing again off 16 or letting it break through and then look at that $18 level from when it came into market. I think one of those is going to go. And as I said with GWH, which is on the New York, Neil, it just continues to fall like an absolute rock. We're sitting in the money about $3 and change on this stock. And I'm still thinking it's 17.50 or so where my bid is going to be sitting. And I keep drawing it back. Like the further it falls or like the weaker it looks on the bid, I actually start pulling it, like inching it away. Had it in front of 17.50 before, now I'm on the other end of that. I want to have a bid out just in case it absolutely flushes and wants to halt down, in which case it could be a bit of a dead cat bounce if that would happen.
I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I mean, we could go positive on costs on the day here because right now we're long at 1960. We did take that bid right there, and then we got out of some when it started to break back down 1950, and then we talked about holding it into 19. I just wish I had another tick down here as it starts to come back up, man. 77's out 20's there. We're waiting again here at 96. It actually stopped at 95 right there. So sometimes we pick the spots and sometimes we don't, but right there, we'll see if we. I mean, you'll just see my honesty. It'll rip up to 96 and hopefully I'll get filled and you'll be able to see that again. Like, look, I'm pretty sure with this crowd, I don't need to tell you that we are real here and we're the real. And I mean, not like the stock real, but we actually are taking fills. We are actually calling out levels that we believe in, not levels that will get us profitable if you take them out, right? These are real trades. We're real traders, and I'm super proud of what we're doing on this show right now, because here we go, man, to the upside. Here we go, cost. So I can't, we're almost going to be positive on this name. It just needs to come out to the upside. All I try to do, man, is be as transparent as possible on all of these positions. So right now we were in trouble on costs, that's for sure. But this is why, and you're going to see me and Neil do this all the time. Like, we take out profits when they come. Like, someone might say, why did you take 80 cents or 60 cents there? It's because I had 60 cents in the money. Why when this ripped up did we get out here? Because we saw 23 and we saw some resistance, so we got out. And then we went back and we found some levels here that we liked. 1950, 19's down here on this name. Go costs! And that's why we took it, right? So this is part of what we're doing. So we'll dap up you guys for the environment that we're in right now, because look, man, trade with us, have some fun, let's rock and roll here as cost continues back to the upside. So believe in your trades. Shout out to Jacqueline as well. Yesterday said, if you have a name that you believe in and the levels are there, you take them and you hold it and you wait. So right now, here's a 73-cent winner, 80-cent winner right now on cost, right? So you get dumped on, that's for sure. We take the hit and then you battle right back. So this is what we're doing. Welcome to Trader TV Live. Welcome to the real. This is what we're doing. We're spinning this every day. And in fact, it's been like 90 straight days that we're spinning that. Holler at your boy. Let's go.
Oh my goodness, that stop out looks like crap on JSPR there. I told you guys if we took that 15 level, I was going to be out. So that's me. I'm going to be bottom Wiccans on that last long that we had. I had a tight stop short at 16 even. I'm actually, okay, I was sitting in front of 18 because I love that level, but the way that it just jailbroke to the upside, I was kind of looking to see if it was going to have a halt band up there at around 1780 or so, and didn't want to have an offer just sort of sitting out and getting trapped in a bit of a halt. So Jasper still seems like it is Jasper, right? Like, I'm actually saying the right name of the company. Jasper Therapeutics.
You got it.
Bit of an obvious guess with this ticker here, but I thought it would get to 18 on that push. It goes 1730. So it would be really easy to see this turn and then just jump into what could be a trap, but I'm sort of sticking to my guns with the notion that it's this 18 or it's almost bust, like halt down and I'll be all over you. That hasn't happened yet, obviously. It's only going to the upside. And then I think DATS is going to still be a bit of a hold. Just to go back to, and Fred, we'll go back to a Delta. Wow, I'm getting old, man. Like, I can't remember the name of Delta. Delta is going to be like the most annoying trade ever. Sometimes you get one of these where it's like you play quarters in front of evens, and then all that happens to you is you make the quarter and then lose the quarter. So that's exactly what happened. I don't know why this is coded as a short. I wish I could show you this and say, hey, this is me short at 41.85 when it went down. No, it's just a stop order. So I must have had a sell order out to take more profit to the upside, and then this got coded as a short. That was me getting flat. So Delta, it just needed to hold that 42. And then, I mean, there could be something here at the 50 period at 41. Not too sexy to me with this market heading down, but it's getting a bit of a bid, so maybe that helps you out. My level was 42 on Delta, like I said, so we took 42 quarter, got out 50s, then got the rest out on a 42 break, which is really not that exciting. If you like the name, maybe 41 is good for you. I just thought it was an interesting day trade in front of 42, and that's no longer there, so not very interesting anymore. Brendan's at the big screen with one from yesterday. I remember you, Ocugen.
Oh yeah, Ocugen.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time, yeah. Ocugen, finally, day number 2 gives you this flush that I was looking for yesterday and got all kinds of chopped up in. So a nice move this morning. Just 910, we talked about that 910 level on the daily chart, pretty obvious. Came into play again in the pre-market there, so pretty tight risk down to about 830, 820, depending on where you took that one off for OCGN. I saw this cost get back below this level from aftermarket yesterday, and that got me involved at 21. Nice move down to 19.5. Actually went a lot further than that, but chopping around now around that 19.5 for KOSS. RLX, I talked about just before the open, 530 and then 550 at the top. It's struggling right now at 530. We'll see what happens. Going to have to be a little bit patient with this as volume already a bit of an issue for RLX, guys. 550 the top on that one. Back over to you.
So I talked about, being disciplined, having the good stuff. Okay.
I didn't pay for the short.
Right.
I can't
look at
pay for the shorts.
It's fine. We'll have an opportunity. Okay, look at this. This is what I want to talk about. This is the key thing here, and this is why, people will say, okay, maybe I'm lying. Maybe we don't have this run of days that we have. Maybe we don't. Maybe this is not the truth. Is this out? Is this out fake? I mean, I said if we crack down below 1570, then we are getting out of DATS. Why? Because that's where we bought it and we didn't want this to happen. Now, again, I don't expect this to happen right when we get out, that's for sure. I would have thought maybe a crack at 1550 or something could have started that. But obviously this starts basically at 16 and then just keeps on going. And I got to give a big shout out, a dap up to Day Trade the World. I mean, the software right away, bang, hits
the stop was good.
Thanks. Hits the level, bang, gets out right there on the stop, and that's that. And now Neil will talk about trade preparation.
Look, I have to say it because it's pie in my face, because I was just saying about, like, if 1530 goes on DATS, like, it's one thing to get out of the long, but it could absolutely crater and you don't want to get caught. Now, obviously, that's a shorting opportunity, and then the shorts are 2 cents a share, right? So on every single one of these names, usually I'm like meticulous. I go through it. I want to short it, check to make sure we have locates. If we don't have them, go pay for the shorts, so we get them in all the names. If a name pops up like JSPR there, you get it in real time and it takes a couple of seconds. I actually had thought that I'd pay for the DAT shorts this morning. I hadn't. So you're not going to, I was sitting there as this was going, I'm like, yes. Wait a minute, I'm not actually short because I didn't get it. I was sitting there rejecting like three times. It's now halted downside. DATS has more room to fall. I hate to, this is not the fun part for anyone that's holding a long position. It has more room to fall. This is your 1350 from yesterday. I'm not sure it can even hold that. This is probably the first level that it could hold. And if it does, it's a short in front of that 15 to 1530 where it just broke down. So if it pops up, I'm shorting the heck out of 15 to 1530 now that I paid for it. If 1350 can't hold, you're looking at about 1250 to the downside, 1250 to 1270. I think maybe it catches a bounce. There's probably a dead cat bounce in this if it halts a second time, but I'd look for that second halt or holding probably this 1270 level. And on any pop, like I said, on any pop on the reopen, I'm looking for that 15 to 1530 to turn into resistance, and then you're going to be looking for the short trade. While all this was happening, because we have to wait a couple of minutes here for the DATS to reopen, I can tell you that Plug Power, which again, like some names are a little bit more orderly here. Like Plug is basically just holding the high end. With the market flushing like that, Plug just bounced off VWAP and is retesting the high. So I do anticipate I'm likely holding on to this one a little bit longer. And then Moderna as well. Like I'm not getting anything out till it gets to VWAP. I still want room for one more ad up in front of that 324-ish area. And then I want to hang on to that short, at least up to this like 16 range, and then possibly down to those lows. So because the range is a bit bigger on Moderna, I'm going to be holding this one. I anticipate a little bit longer than most trades. And then that JSPR, we talk about waiting for your entry point. It got to 1730. I said I was waiting for 18 to short the top. It never really got there. If it falls from here, I'm not going to be upset about it. Like if this could drop to $13, but it never reached my level, I can be upset about DATS because there was a trade that I wanted, and it was simply, it was a lack of preparation on my part. Like I would swear that I put in that DATS request. It is what it is. Like, you get past it, and it's going to open up in like a minute or so, and we'll be back all over it as long as it gives us the entry. I'm shorting the pop 15 to 1530 if it gets there.
Yeah, great trade there, Sterling, and again, good. No, he got a long before, or short, I believe. I don't know what he had, but a good trade there. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't get caught as well, and that's like I was talking about it, man. I mean, that's why you got to be, trading it properly and looking at the right levels. So that's a good one for DATS. Can't believe it's about to open up, so we'll watch that. Okay, Apple does come right back into these levels. So we were buying 80s before. Now we'll buy 70s and see where we go. Average price now 75. So you can see that on the board. We'll see if where it goes. Again, a nice little dip down here for the NASDAQ, and we'll just see if Apple can hold. So if Apple can hold, again, 139. That's kind of the levels we're looking at. We will get deeper into the Apple trade if we have to, but right now, Apple, a name that I'm looking at. And again, I talked about this early, and shout out to Sterling, shout out to Jude Fernando, everybody, Emily One, Tyrone, Amir Zing on there as well. Everybody that's part of the team, but you got to be part of Sticky Note Nation as well, because we only have 4 names on here. Look, Apple, Cost, DATS, and AMD. Like, I mean, you don't need to trade anything else. And that's pretty much what I've been doing all day, is sticking with, the names that I've looked at, the names that I've done work on. And I mean, we've been pumping AMD for a hell of a long time, how much we love this name off that $100 level. Even you, Sterling, you were asking me, you were long there, AMD 102, 101, something like that. And I mean, now you're up to 108. And, we didn't even really violate that 99. I think we broke 100 once, maybe twice. And then, straight to the upside. I hope you're still long. If not, I don't blame you. I mean, that's a great trade to get some out any levels now. But there's the AMD trade. Like, we had 106 pegged for you. Right on the sticky note, tweeted out and everything, boom, right there to the upside. So it's just looking at levels, man. 106. If you look at AMD here on the 20-minute chart, this is 106 right here. We topped out there yesterday on a lot of momentum, and then just got faded down the rest of the day as the NASDAQ got hit, right? So when we come in today and we see the NASDAQ bounce off of that CPI number and then straight to the upside, yeah, we're excited for it. And we know that AMD, let's take one of the best names that we know of and hit that pretty hard. So AMD straight to the upside, a nice win for us. And we didn't count our chickens before they hatched. We actually got out right at 109 based on a previous high tick as well. It doesn't show it on the 20 minutes on the daily. That was 109. So we get out there and it takes up a little bit, but so far so good, man. We're pretty happy with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like to dwell on the things that are going to make me improve, and that's going to be sort of correcting those mistakes, and that's a mistake of preparation. Every time that I make a mistake, not preparing, not getting it paid for short, I am going to say it over and over again and let you guys know that I screwed up, because it helps me. It's actually, I'm being selfish, because it helps me not to make that mistake in the future. It's a 10-minute halt on DATS, by the way. That's why it's not open back up here. So we'll check that out in a couple of minutes. But Prague, there's another one from yesterday, by the way, that's making another move to the upside. You're going to see it get to this 250 level. This is a 1-minute chart. I should go to the 15 for you guys. This is the 15 minutes, so you can see that in the afternoon, it had a lower high at this 250 price after pumping to 270. So this is a decent level if it were to break 250, but it's probably like 10, 15 cents to that 270 before you run into resistance again. And so Jude, so here's the thing about Moderna for me. Whether or not I actually have my last entry at 324, and this is the top, I'm going to treat it as if that were true. Because if it is going to flush here, when I put a trade on like this, the first out is in front of VWAP. The next out is going to be at the higher level, the higher end support, which I guess was that resistance level from, if you go to the 15, which is that resistance level from 317. And then another out will probably be in front of this pre-market low and then hold the rest. So that structure doesn't change just because I didn't get the full position, because that's the setup. So I'm going to play it as the setup regardless of where I got in. Now, if I had gotten it all in at once, the same thing. If I got it in one leg at a time and then missed the third one, then that's what I'm doing here. I'm still going to cover some at VWAP, because the market just absolutely flushed, and you're only at VWAP on Moderna, so it's relatively strong, which means if it bounces from here, I want to have taken some profit and then get some more shares out, get some more shares in at those levels that we like. So it's more about the setup for me in that regard, why I'm taking some out here on Moderna. But yeah, is it going to be maybe too early? It's going to look like that if it gets to 310, but I also anticipate still having shares to the short side if it gets to 310 anyways. Brennan, again?
Okay, guys, yeah, 10:30. If you were with us yesterday, we had a slight scheduling mishap with our good friend now, Nick Leeson. So if you're looking for that interview, it is now available. Don't go right now. Stay here right now. But in an hour or so, when you are eating your lunch, definitely worth a watch. Great chat yesterday afternoon with Nick Leeson. Good to go on the YouTube page right now. In the meantime, let's get a look at how things are shaping up over in Europe. Miss B is back in the building and is watching what's happening over in Europe. What's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are mostly negative. Software company SAP trading in Germany is up more than 4% after raising its full year outlook for the third time. Back to you.
Yeah, a little bit choppy over in Europe, guys, as well as same story here. We're negative, but not big time.
Yeah, NASDAQ. Yeah, actually, NASDAQ's starting to come down a little bit right now. So we got to watch out for that as Europe. Good call there, Miss V on Europe. That's still not open now.
It should be about 20 seconds or so.
So we're actually waiting for that one. Our Apple trade, I mean, look, we're still positive on the stock, obviously, but this is starting to come down here. We'll take one more shot at 139.20 or so to protect that 139 even. It doesn't look great on our charts because we have some of these wicks up there, but we took a profit here, 78, out 99s, out 16s
oh my goodness,
right there.
not even.
There's that, so let's see.
So yeah, forget about shorting a pop. It actually just it opens up at like 13.50 and tries to get back to the halt price of 14.25. So 13.50 was that breakout level from yesterday. So if it can hold 13.50, then you might have a bit of a not capitulation, but a dead cat bounce here, which would give you a setup for a break at the halt price at 14.25. It might even give you a little something here if you can. If I can get a stop order in at 13.50 and then maybe take like a very, very tight stop long as it's testing it. But I think that's a riskier trade than allowing it to work back into the upside again. You know what? I didn't even do it, so I kind of talked myself out of it there. But now that it's broken 13.50, forget about that 14.25 breakout. The next level into the downside, outside of it halting, I just sort of coming back on the 1 minute so you can see this is the afternoon at about 12.75 or so. So if it can hold that, at this point, I'm looking for the dead cat bounce because it didn't set up for my short. If it halts at 12.75, then there's almost certainly on that reopen, I'm going to be looking for a long trade. The same way after two halts up, I'm looking for shorts. Two halts down, I'd be looking for long opportunities in DATS. It just held that 12.75 that we're looking at for that last level. So this could be a bit of a jailbreak back to the upside. And your new jailbreak price would be 13.50 with a 12.70 stop.
Yep. Okay. Good. Obviously, good moves there on DATS as we're now open up and ready to rock and roll. 1280 was that bottom. A good bottom there for sure on that name. So watch out if you are into that. Good trade for you guys on DATS. Let's go Palantir. People talking about so we can see what's happening with Palantir right now. Okay. Yeah. 24. Now, not doing anything. I'm not going to really trade that when it looks like this, guys. So we will hold off on some Palantir for right now, and then just go from there. So we'll wait to see where it goes. But right now, Palantir just kind of struggling with the NASDAQ making bottoms. I think this is a good bid at 24 and change on Palantir if you can get it, guys. 24 though.
So it just while I'm sort of all over this DATS, it's put it in the chat there, and I meant to say it right away, Jude. Don't assume that my way of Moderna is the right way. I'm just doing what has worked for me since I've been trading that stock, and it doesn't mean it's the most efficient way. Like I could be 100% wrong about the approach of sort of averaging into it in the way that I get in, and then where I take those profits out. Like if it bounces here and it gets up to 23 and then flushes, it might seem that I was right, but that doesn't mean it's the right way to go. Like track it yourself. Develop your own trading style. We're just showing you what we're thinking when these things happen, and it doesn't mean it's a holy grail. There's a million ways to make money on a price level and a move, right? Like, if it comes down from here, everybody that shorts it makes money. If DATS makes this breakout, it doesn't matter that I'm waiting for 13.50 if you already have a 13 long here. I mean, both of those are going to end up working if we get the jailbreak. So it's trying, like DATS, this 13.50 we talked about, it's now big time resistance. It's holding it. I am going to try to take a breakout. But if that doesn't immediately go, I'm not going to hold it to that low of the day, right? Like I need this to extend. And then of course, look, if it breaks 13.50, I want to be covering a lot of this in front of that 14.20 halt price that it had before, because I think that's going to be an obvious resistance level. And no matter what happens, back to 15 to 15.30 is going to be a short, but that 13.50 area is a heck of a resistance level for the time being.
Yeah, and then we'll just keep doing the same thing that we're doing over here, and that is money, right now, Apple, another good buy for us down here on Apple, man. Just bought here again, 69, out 99 or 96, whatever that was right there on that offer. So a nice upside move here for Apple. It's at 96 now. I think it was 93 out. But right there, 70 cents up. That's another 20 cents. And remember what we're doing right now, guys. We're just sort of stacking up the coins. This is going to be a Bitcoin, but we're stacking up the cash right now on a lot of these other names. So we're going to watch out to see where we go from here on that. U.S. has had discussions with Chinese colleagues about Iran sanctions, apparently. I don't think that that's a mover here, but the market does seem to like something as it just made a move back to the upside. Wow. I guess we got out of our AMD a little bit too early there, but I still think this is a great opportunity for many people to just sort of learn that when you look back and you sort of pick stocks and you sort of stick with them, like we've talked about that, 107 break right there, 108 break would have worked to the upside as well. And that's sort of where we got out there on the 20-minute chart. So you're going to see here on the daily though, that's 109, sorry. We just took out 109 $2.99 again. That's what I was saying. We may take out the day's high, but we're still rocking and rolling. Apple 23 cents now in the money, and we'll see where we're going from here on all of these guys. Good trading today.
So I'll tell you, DATS, I said in the chat there, I'll take a quick long in front of that low of the day. It immediately stopped out, but that's the reverse. It's like that rejection where it stopped below that 1278 low, stopped me out when I was long at 1290, and then immediately rejected to fall further than that. So if it's going to be a short entry when it does a sort of a failed break to the downside or to the upside, then it's a long entry when it does a failed break to the downside. So I'm not waiting for that 1350 anymore. I grabbed it on the north side of 13 even. My stop is going to be at that, the new low, which is at 1272. So I can quickly put that stop in just to make sure we're always covered. I want to make sure I have a stop order when trading a name that could halt to the downside. This is an add if it breaks 1350, guys. So if this breaks 1350, I'm adding to this position and covering somewhere in front of that 14 to 1425 area. But for now, I want to see if we can hold this low on DATS.
Brendo.
I want to talk about our friends at LOVE Pharma, guys. LUV on the CSE, a brand new listing on the Canadian Securities Exchange as of the past couple of days. I'll show you the chart in a second, but great things going on at LOVE Pharma. Brand new era of health, new technologies they're working on. This is a company that has 7.2% compound annual growth rate over the past 5 years and also for the next 10 years. 6 exclusively licensed technologies right now. LUV.cn on the CSE, guys. Check out LOVE Pharma.
Definitely a good name there, and you got to catch these names early, right? I mean, I think that's the point why we're bringing you some of these good names. So LOVE Pharma on the CSE, good report there, and some nice numbers. Thank you, Brendan, for them and for that report. So costs, just to give an update on another flyer here. We're in the money on this one, 40 cents. It did just rip again to 20. I mean, this may be the level that we just have to get out here on costs. Like, I was trying to hold this. Honestly, we're negative on costs. It's going to be the only trade that we're negative on. We're on negative on JP Morgan. So as I look on the board here, we have 2 negative names today, costs and JP Morgan. It doesn't look like this one's going to be negative, but the thing is that we got in and out there at 1950. We should have held out for 19. But again, we got out, but we did reload it. So that's where you have 1, 2, 3. Like, you have all these outs, and we still have bullets here to fire. So I'm still in this name. So if we can get back upside, I think this is a decent spot. I'm still thinking we can get up here, like waiting for like an afternoon volume spike. There's really been, I don't know if you guys can't see, there, I call this up a little bit here. The volume has been really weak on it. I mean, it's been fine. It's still 9 million, but it's really died off on this name, which is a surprise to me. So let's see, maybe we can get some talk here on costs, and this thing will start to go back to the upside. So that's what I'm holding out for. We'll see. I don't have any offers on it, so hopefully it can come to the upside, and then we'll go from there. But right now, cost still 50 cents in the money, and we're liking it, and we did already get some Apple out there when it went to near 140. So I still like that play as well. But I mean, so far so good here today, guys.
And look, the bottom broke on DATS, and it's going to be this level right here, that 1270. So I tried the long trade. That'll be a loser, and then I just took the break when it took out that low, and then it immediately tried to retest it. So I was able to get some more shares there. So an average price of 77.5. You're going to see I'm on the 15-minute chart, which I might, gravitate towards more a little bit on DATS for the rest of the day, just to show you. Even if it breaks 1250, I think it still could have some support at that $12 range. And then no matter what, like that 1350 level, that's going to be like it's not actually a pivot point, but it's kind of going to be that for me, right? Like at 1350, I still feel like this can break from that price and then retest that halt price at 1420. So as long as we're within the spitting distance of that, I want to make sure that I'm not just getting out of any short there, but looking for a long position. I was just talking about like my approach might be the wrong one in Moderna. Well, yeah, that could absolutely be true because I didn't get more shares here at 21 because my plan was a test of closer to 25 and getting like 23 to 24 is my next entry, which would mean this has to test the high of the day for me to add to this Moderna position. So getting out at VWAP hasn't benefited me just yet. It remains to be seen whether that's going to be true. Brendo, we said it was interesting to see Sector Watch today because it's quite the mixed market. So can't wait for it. Let us know, Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, it's interesting how this board gives you kind of a different perspective or better perspective maybe on what overall is happening. We are red, 0.2%, but the board pretty negative so far, right across the entire thing here. Talking about healthcare first, just quickly, Moderna, 3% to the upside. It's tomorrow The FDA advisory panel will come through with their decision on the third shot booster. ALGN, 8.5% leading in the equipment makers to the downside. There's Delta, 4.8% to the downside. The rest of the airlines here all in negative territory being dragged along with Delta. Financials very red as well, following JP Morgan to the downside. So most of the banks in the red here. FRC the only one not. BLK 3.5% to the upside off earnings as well. COF as well, diversified 4% to the downside. Insurance companies, every single one of them in negative territory. Tech stocks, the only group offsetting an otherwise, or what would be an otherwise pretty negative day here. Semiconductors leading the way. Software makers are also in positive territory. But the rest of this board, very negative. Energy stocks, real estate, consumer discretionary materials, all. I mean, there are a few here that are positive in the materials group, but overall the group's still in negative territory. So a little bit of a different perspective, guys. Outside of tech here, that number I feel would be a lot greater. 0.2 to the downside. Back to you.
All right, so I lied a little bit on costs here. I didn't lie. I don't have any out yet, but I do have an offer. I mean, this is now 78 cents in the money. You know, this is what I mean when you're trading. I just want to talk about, what was it? Who mentioned there? Yeah, Sludge Mon Vaughn there. What I was talking about with DATS was, this is why I leave it alone when it's at these levels. You know, sometimes when it's breaking, it's great, but this is too much for me. This is too much barcoding. Obviously, you can't predict that, but I have to find some levels, right? We're still up on DATS. DATS is a profitable stock for me, so I'm just not going to mess with it at these levels. I mean, if you bring it back down in here, you know, I mean, where are we going to do? I mean, do anything at 1250, I think could be a spot. So, I mean, that might be a level. But other than that, I mean, it's just been huge monster moves up. I don't really see anything that I like unless we break above here 1380, right? So you got to watch out for key levels. And that's what I mean. I'm just going to stick with positivity on DATS today. And if it breaks certain levels, then we'll get ready to rock and roll. But I'm going to stick away from it. And then, you know, again, and you talked about DATS being my side chick and AMD being the wife. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I absolutely love trading the big cap names, but I trade everything, right? I mean, here today, Apple, AMD, DATS, JP Morgan, costs, right? So a little bit of everything here today. And yeah, I don't mind this cost. And just to let you guys know, I did put an offer right near VWAP up here. So if we can get up to like 2070, then we'll take that $1.10 win, put this back into the positive nature for us, and walk away from the show, you know, with a decent performance. So hopefully today that'll still continue for us and we can make a little bit of money here on costs. Apple right back. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Apple's kind of like my second wife as well, because Apple's been just really good trade for me today, buying some dips here and just getting out. So you can see that. So, hey man, a successful day today. And you know, thank God we were able to get out of the way of that DATS trade when we were in it, because this we only had a little bit left anyways, but that would have, you know, put us negative there on the day. Here comes DATS right down to that 1250 level.
Yeah, I mean, I just covered some on DATS, so we'll do this for the recent short trade that we just got into. I'm going to get to CRXT in just a quick second here, but remember we said like this 12 level here, an interesting and a big one for DATS, because there was a huge failure at this price when it made that 17 low. That was like that line in the sand. So I kind of meant to get almost everything out. I actually still have a third of the position on the short, that 1280 level, but I want to get it all out in front of that 12 even. I did say a target on GWH, Mountain Climber. I like that name. I did say a target, but if you're tuning in a little bit later, on GWH, I got the 15-minute up here. I can quickly show you. You go back into yesterday. It's only been in the market for a couple of days here, like 3 days. You go back into yesterday's action. You get a wick high to 1750 in the middle of a consolidation here. That's where my bid is sitting for now. But I've been pulling it back a little bit. The weaker it looks, I kind of pull it back. It's consolidating off of 19. I'm letting this one ride. I might be in it all day long. Like, who absolutely knows here? Could go absolutely crazy. We'll see what happens with it. CRTX is another name you guys are talking, but I threw out some levels in the chat. Whoops. CTRX. Oh, come on, Neil. Is it CTRX? I must have got that one wrong. You know what? I'll come back to that in a second. I feel like I'm getting it wrong. And I have to get back over to DATS because it is bouncing off that 12. So I had one more bid down here in front of that 12 even to get flat, and it's coming right back into the upside. I still think that 1350 should be a bit of a jailbreak price here. It's not going to look like a heck of a lot, but you know, on the way down, it was very easy for me to see the iceberg and offer that was holding the 1350 level. So once it's made a bottom, the unfortunate problem of bouncing off of 12 is it could halt before it got to 1350. That gives you a little bit of trouble here. So now I have to kind of think about a break-even stop. I might even take a long off that 12 level, but 1350 as a break is only going to be a breakout as long as it's not halting through that level. Like I'm never taking, I'm not going to take it as a breakout long if that's exactly at a halt band. So if it goes into a halt state, I'd probably try to grab the long on the bid as it's going into that halt as opposed to sticking to exactly 1350.
All right. I mean, we're just sitting here chilling out, having a good time. Yeah, don't ghost DATS. I'm ghosting it. I don't have any. I mean, I'm up on it. I don't have any need to do anything. I already told you guys 1250 could have been a level there. It looks like it's trying to hold, so we can wait to see what happens on 1250. I mean, I could go baby long here, but whatever. That's not. I'm not worried about it. I'm not running with DATS, but there it is. I already called that 1250. So if you like the 1250 long, there it is. Merry Christmas to 20 cents. You could take that and spin it yourself because if you just took that, there you go. But I don't fool around with this right now because you know what? I know where my bread is buttered and it just continues to be that way, man. We hit these things and we quit these things. I mean, look at Apple, 50 cents in the money right now. Okay, 50 cents is 50 cents. It doesn't matter right now. I'll take 50 cents on any stock with that. So that's going to be a good one to go. Costs, again, another one ready to go. Let's check out on AMD, right? 110 right now on AMD. Like, let's just come flying in on this one. This is what we're doing. We don't get served. No, we get served food. Actually, today's lunch is grilled chicken burger with caramelized onion and bacon jam. So me and Brendan get a nice little salad prepared for us, but maybe I'll steal a chicken burger. That seems like that's pretty good there. But SoFi's testing at damn AMD. Yeah, you guys are hell right about that one. We've been looking at AMD for a long time, man. Not only is the account growing every day up here, but it's also growing in the old RRSP account, if you know what I'm saying on that one. We can check back in on JP Morgan. Again, we have a loser on there today if it's right back up, but whatever. We tested this 161. It didn't hold, so we got out. Looks like that may be a good break here. 161.75. That's going to be a good opportunity for us as well. Cost still trying to go. We talked about where our outs are on that one, but man, the money just keeps on pouring in over on this side. So I don't know how. I think it
was. So I want to make a correction here. It was CRXT was the symbol. I probably bungled it like twice, guys. And I was trying to get those levels out to you here. Someone correctly pointing out it as a million float. We're going to double check that in the short interest. But here's the daily chart. This is your $7 level. It's only been the market for like a couple of months here, but this $7 level is going to be a big one. Because of that float, the way that I would treat it differently is it's got to come to that price. Like there's no waiting for it. There's no like jumping in front of a level like that. You wait for that. And by the way, Moderna, I did wait for it to go to 24. It went to 24. Now I get the reload. So CRTX, it's got to be 7 even. It's not 650. It's not 670. It's not 677. I want it testing $7 before I would think about a turn. And then watch out because you have to, if you put a stop at 7, you're at least risking I don't know, like 10 to 15, maybe even 20 cents worth of slippage. On DATS, I did get out, as I mentioned there. It got to that 12 level. I got out of it when it bounced off of 12. Even if it takes this one out, like it could get, I guess, even uglier to the downside. But I'm thinking about a dead cat bounce, right? So I already tried it once. Now I'm looking for a dead cat bounce again. 1350 stands out as a bit of a level. Outside of that, it would have to do like a flush through 12 and then a recovery through 12 even. Otherwise, 1350 is the only thing that I see with regards to DATS.
Okay, just a review here. So this is the coffee that Valeria brought me at 9 o'clock. So it's still completely full right there. Thank you, Valeria. I'll have to reheat that coming through. So just an update on the coffee situation there. Okay, just to give everyone an update here. How many viewers do we have? Valeria, get ready because we're going to do a like session right now because Ms. V is back in the building. We have 1.4K. If you can, guys, 4,500 watching. We brought you Nick Leeson yesterday. We're going to be coming back. We have memes and movers coming as well. So if we can get a little bit of a like fest going on right here. Let's see if Ms. V is around. Ms. V, give them hell. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's officially like o'clock, so please make sure you like this video, double check if your thumb turned to the upside, and we have almost 5,000 people watching, so please be kind, smash the like button and make likes great again. I really miss times when we would get 5,000 plus likes, so please smash the like button. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you so much, Ms. V. We'll see if we get to 2,000 likes there very, very soon. 1.7 right now. You know, look, Ms. V came back from vacation. She was even watching the show while on vacation. So let's get some likes for Ms. V. Thank you so much, you know, for doing everything that you do. So thank you so much again to our viewers, and thank you to Valeria for coming back, I guess. I don't know. Over to Brendan there at the big board. It's Money Talks. Damn you, Canadian dollar. Damn you.
Hey guys, Bill Shatner is in space, it would appear. So Captain Kirk on the way on Blue Origin currently. Here we go, currencies, yeah, pretty positive because the US dollar negative following that CPI number from this morning and ahead of the Fed. Fed meeting minutes coming at 2 p.m. this afternoon. So heads up, watch the dollar. Big move down today on DXY, 94.5 down to about 94.1. which has a lot of these in positive territory, as I said, about 0.25% for the CAD. 80.4 again for the Canadian dollar. British pound 136 and change. Japanese yen, Swiss franc lower. Typically when we get volatility coming off, these are going to be in negative territory. And the rest as well, Australia, Turkish lira, and New Zealand, all quite positive, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, Shatner off right now into space. You can probably see him on the screens there behind us, taking off. So good luck to everybody. Good luck to Blue Origin, as well as, yeah, you know, there's space.
We were saying this, I wish I knew the name of the company, but I already forget it, unfortunately. There's a company in Texas that's doing balloons
you mentioned that
into
yesterday.
orbit. So like, kind of like a weather balloon idea, and then there's a big capsule. Anyways, they're looking to charge like, I think it was 62 grand initially, and they want to be 2024. So that could be a lower cost alternative to Virgin Galactic if those guys have a successful flight, because if it starts at 62,000, that's going to be down probably like a third of that at some point. But let's see what happens there. That could be some downward pressure on some of the other names that are doing space tourism. CCXI was a name, and thank you guys for bringing it up. Another one from yesterday, just got positive, but this was like, the reason I'm holding on to GWH is stuff like CCXI, right? Shorted at that 42 high, took it off thinking $3 was a good trade, only to watch it be a $7 push to the downside. And I don't want the same thing happen to me with GWH. I want to actually hold it through what I think could be the capitulation target. But if it does not break back above this 37, it's like 36.75, 37 even, like these bottoms here, and then, you know, sort of the high in the afternoon. If this can't get through that price, this stock could be dead again. And then breaking 34, and then you're headed down to $29. So great point out. I just paid for shorts myself on CCXI, because if it holds this resistance at 37, this stock could just absolutely crumble if it breaks a low. So good look there. I know it was 42s and 41s yesterday, but sometimes people say buy low, sell high. Sometimes on a strong stock, you're buying high, selling higher. Just take a look at like Upstart or Affirm. Or on things like this, when they fall apart, you're selling low and buying back even lower. I guess that's the reverse of that. Never said that out loud before.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys want to talk about right here. PaySafe, I don't even know. That's probably what is that, $1 yet? Probably still going to the downside here. PaySafe today, yeah, down to $7. So not much there. You guys all know what's good about PaySafe, man. We've already talked about that. We got to wait for earnings on that name to come through there. AMD still touching 110. Plug Power back to Plug Power 32.50 right now. So a good move through that $30 one more time. We talked about that when there was some volume there. Brampton. Okay, what's up, Brandon?
Just quickly, guys, I read this headline and was kind of surprised. Yeah, Bill Shatner, 90 years old. I wouldn't have thought that, but apparently now the oldest person ever to reach space, it would appear. They are officially there. So 90-year-old William Shatner in space.
I mean, I knew he didn't look great the last time I'd seen him, but I had no idea. He looks fantastic for 90 years old. Wow. Thank you so much, guys, for Super Chats for a new member. What's up, Ryan Mulder? Thank you so much for joining us. And then Trace Mormon. Sean and Neil, do you anticipate a pullback here on Affirm? I didn't even realize. I mean, I should have. Look, yesterday Affirm was my number one stock yesterday as we were buying I have a 133 print in my account from yesterday on Affirm. So, yeah, I mean, right here on a 1 minute chart, yeah, why not? 150, obviously a psychological level. So I think there's an opportunity to grab that trade. So, yeah, 148, 148.50, something like that on Affirm. Yeah, good call. I think it is due for a pullback. You can retest this 145. But the thing about it is, look at the market. coming in here, look at Affirm, still very, very strong. So you're not going to watch the market for this. You're just going to try to play off of what you're seeing here happening on the stock, not on the broader market. So Affirm looks like it actually wants to take out 148.50 right here. Very, very strong, but I don't blame you if you try the short, but I mean, don't hold out onto it forever. Yesterday was a fantastic trading day for us on Affirm. I bought all the way in and then got out all the way back up, so that was a good one. My number one stock yesterday, Affirm. Thank you for bringing it up again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's due for that, but I keep thinking it and then have mixed results. It's like great one day and then bad the next, and then a mixed result on the third day. And I've stayed away from it the last couple of sessions because of this. I actually want it back below this 140. See this top here, like this 145? I kind of feel like if it breaks back below that 145, we're getting to 150 in this market, then maybe it has a chance at that point to continue that pullback. Otherwise, let it test 150 and see what happens. In the middle, I think, is a bit of a trap zone on Affirm. I say all of this being thrilled to the fact that I'm long in this thing, and it's like, at some point, like if it breaks 150, I'm selling some shares of Affirm. Just come on, give me a break. If it breaks 150, I'm selling some shares of Affirm. It's like looking a gift horse in the mouth, but I don't have enough that I want to trim too much. So it's one of those that I wanted to be buying on a dip if there was going to be that deeper pullback in the market. And guess what? It's giving you zero opportunity for that. So that is Affirm. Like I said, I got the more shares of Moderna there. So there it is. We're able to take that last entry into Moderna. Actually, no, technically, because I got some out, I can take a little bit more and still have full position. But that 325 might get tested. It's already gone there once and pulled back. This is the range we like. So getting out in front of VWAP, like I said, Jude, getting out in front of VWAP, or some shares out in front of VWAP for now looks like the good decision, but it doesn't mean it's the only way to play this stock. I got some more plug on a dip as well. And then DATS is still... I still think there's going to be a big trade in DATS to come, but the last short that we had, we did take off. I feel like there could still be that capitulation, dead cat bounce in DATS. It's now holding that $12 above that $12 range. I don't love the idea of stepping in front of it here, stepping in front of that 12.75 area didn't work out. So I'd rather wait for it to actually break to the upside. 13.50 stands out as resistance, obviously, and until it breaks that, you're not going to get that jailbreak, halt up kind of situation.
I did want to thank, again, that's the wrong one there. Someone asked, I clicked on the wrong super chat. Here it was. Rafiq, why did we put AMD on the sticky note? I mean, look, I do work on some levels, come in. If they're still going to be there, then we're going to put them on and we're going to hit them. And then, there's the 106 right there, a nice little long. And if you look here at the 20-minute chart, where's 106? It was on the daily chart, but it's this level yesterday. This is the main reason why we took this. If you look back 2 days ago, 106 was right here. We tried to battle back, and then we dumped off 106. Yesterday, the market rallied early in the morning, in the AM, and 106 held. So right there, dumped off in the afternoon. Then this morning, we had the CPI number come, and the NASDAQ went down and then said no to that bottom there. So we, once it started to go, and then here's the market opening up right here, we saw nice momentum in the NASDAQ. So I love AMD. I love these tech names. I mean, I'm so long all tech, and once we got that 106 there, it was a green light for me. So we took that to the bank, and there it is right there for a big win. And why did we get out at that level? Well, I can't show you our charts, but if I look back here on AMD, we did have a 109 area right in here that we were a little bit concerned about, where we had some bunched up, so we got out at 109, and that's why we got out, and that's going to be your trade of the day, AMD. What's up, Brendan?
Quickly, guys, about a minute to go here. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're in earnings season, guys. Here we go for tonight and tomorrow.
Look, it's all about the banks, right? Like we're going to get Wells and Citigroup that you're going to care about, but Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, but have a look at Domino's Pizza, which. That's a bit of I love the change they made in their business has been fantastic, by the way. I actually order Domino's from time to time, but that's going to be a big reopen type of play there. And let's not sleep on, obviously, what's been moving today that I don't know we've touched on enough. You had some moves in NEO and Tesla, which might have got ignored. I'm still in that plug power because the alternative energy space in general, with what's been going on in energy, has been very, very active. So even though it's not earnings season, it is definitely energy season, and you're seeing those names move on a daily basis. Miss V, what national day is it?
Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I hope it's profitable and positive for you. Thank you very much for 2,000 likes and for trading this morning with us. Me and Prat can't wait for you to join our Memes and Movers show right after. And happy National Yorkshire Pudding, everyone.
Yep.
Yes, sir. It's delicious. If you've never had it, definitely have a taste of it. The peas are optional. I love them. My wife hates them. My daughter hates them. My mother hates them. So I get all of the peas. Peas are just delicious. And they're vegetables. Vegetables are good for you. You got to stay healthy. But it's been a fantastic show. Obviously, there's a heck of a lot moving. You know what that means. That means Memes and Movers is going to be fire like it always is. And of course, we're back for Power Hour. But for now, let's send you on to Trader Prad, MSV.
Yo, welcome back to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Pride. Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Slim Shady's back.
Na.
Hey guys, I'm so glad to be back. I missed you so much. Thank you for joining us today. As usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything, smash the like button, and by the